We be live. Shalom, shalom, everyone. Sorry for being a minute late. No, wait a minute. It's just only a minute late. Why am I apologizing? I'm not apologizing. It's fine. Guys, make sure you like the stream. Susie is back here. We miss Susie. Hi, Susie.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. I'm glad to be back.
Hi. Yes, guys. We miss Susie. Every time we go live with Susie, some people in the live chat are like, wait a minute, where's Susie? Okay, so here's Susie. Okay, are you happy now? Guys, now that we have Susie, make sure you like the stream, and please in the live chat let us know that you have liked the stream. I have the live stream ready. Fantastic. Okay, so for people who are new here, me and Susie do this once every week. We cover some stories that a lot of you have already heard of, but we're here to hear Susie's opinion, my opinion, and your opinion in the live chat about it. So that's the main point. The main point is not to we are going to, Susie will summarize the news for people who don't know what happened, but the main important part is the discussion about it that comes after, right, Susie? That's what we do here.
Yes, of course.
Yes, and this is a group effort. So your opinions, I'm going to be paying attention to you guys' opinion, and we're going to start them, and after I'm going to be highlighting them, and we're going to be reading some of your comments in the live chat as well and commenting them. Oh, guys, super chats. We will definitely be reading the super chats. So please give us as many super chats as you can, because that, if you can afford it, please do not support us financially if you can, because that's how we maintain this channel. That's how this channel gets to survive. So please go ahead and do that. And thank you to everybody who's a member, and also to the people who are doing super chat. So Susie, today's stories, what kind of stories that we have? I think today is not a very good, today is all the stories are kind of
I actually kind of wanted to talk about that. I'm going to be completely honest, it's not a good week. This has not been a good week.
Yeah.
This has not been a good couple of weeks. And you had the stream yesterday where you talked about the Bibas family, and I wasn't there. And that was a really good stream, although it was difficult to get through. I think you did a really good job. And, I don't know. I was just, I've been thinking about that constantly. It's really, really affected me. And I just don't know what to say. And I think, I don't know. The only thing that I can think of when I think about all the people in our community or from Israel or who are Jewish, or honestly, to a certain extent, any religious minority from the Middle East. I don't know. I just want to say that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. What more can be said? One of the main things helping me get through this right now is I've been listening to a lot of my favorite Israeli musicians. And yesterday there's this band I really like. They're called Quarter to Africa, and they have a rendition of the Psalm Gom Kielech. It's really, really beautiful, which for those who don't know is basically a rendition of in English or Christian tradition, we would call it the Shepherd's Prayer. But it's the original Hebrew psalm. It's really beautiful, and I've been having that on repeat. And that's brought a little bit of comfort to me, but I just, I don't think there is very much comfort to be had with the week like this week.
So
But
what kind of stories do we have? But yeah, go
we
ahead. Sorry.
and we are talking about those despicable nurses in Australia, obviously, if you've seen the title.
Oh, there's some updates about that, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about the attack that happened in Austria. There was another attack that happened in Munich. Then there was the attack that happened in London. And then there was the gay Imam that was executed in South Africa.
What?
Oh, I didn't tell you about that?
Oh, assassinated. Okay. Because
Yeah.
executed makes okay, executed makes it seem like the government did it.
Well, I mean, according to
Assassin.
I use that terminology because according to reports, it was happened execution style. So
Okay, executed the style. Yeah. Okay, so let's go, guys. Make sure you keep giving us your comments, and I will keep an eye on the chat. So yeah, let's get started. And wait, let me see. The first one is Islam. The second one is Islam. The third one is
they're all
Islam in
Islam.
Germany. Okay, so
I
they're
can
all
save
Islam. So the
save your
first,
breath.
okay, the first one is in Australia. The second one is in Austria. Third one is in Germany. Fourth was is in the UK, and last one is South Africa. Okay, so all Islam basically spreading its poison in many different countries. So we're going to be covering that, the effects of Islam in the liberal world. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Oh, we already got some super chats. We have Darko celebrating 35 months of membership. 35.
I know, Darko's an OG.
Yeah. And then we have Valerie with the £3 super sticker. Thank you so much, Valerie. And then we have Jackie, very generous from USA.
No, from Australia.
Oh, Australia. Sorry. What did I say? Yes, Australia. The A. I forgot the A. I didn't see. From Australia. Okay, which is where our first story is from. All right. So let's just get started then. So I might just not clapping for any of these. Like today is like a no clap day, huh? Zero.
I mean,
claps
we can
for today.
clap for the first one because you know what's the way that we put it? You know, they decided to show their ass, and other people decided to call their ticket. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
but
we can
guys,
clap for that.
Guys, even if you heard the first part of the story, like I think a lot of you have, there's some updates. I don't know if Susie's going to cover those updates or not. We'll see. That is just like makes the story like keeps getting wilder and wilder and wilder. But anyways, I'm gonna.
Now I'm curious. What did you hear? Okay, well, I guess we'll talk about it.
Did you hear about the morphine part?
A little bit. Like I just.
Oh, okay. So
not full blown. I don't know.
Oh, I should actually look this up then because I don't want to make sure I don't give false information here. But anyways, let's just get started. It's not. Yeah. Okay. First news.
Oops. Jihad in the ER? Muslim nurses in Sydney threaten Israeli lives. In a chilling video that has rocked Australia, revealing 2 Sydney nurses openly boasting about refusing to treat and even killing Jewish patients. In the viral TikTok clip shared by Israeli social media influencer Max Zephyr, the male nurse smirks. You have no idea how many Israeli, well, it's beeped out, so I'm assuming he's saying shit. Israeli shit dogs have come into this hospital and I send them to hell. Well, he actually says I send them to Jahannam. Well, the female nurse wearing a hijab adds coldly, I won't treat them, I'll kill them. Identified as Ahmad Rashid Nadi and Sarah Abdul Lebde, the 2 were swiftly suspended from Bankstown Hospital at the New South Wales Police as the New South Wales Police Anti-Semitism Task Force launched an urgent investigation. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese slammed the footage as disgusting and shameful, while Muslim leaders like Dr. Jamal Rifi insisted no health practitioner should ever treat anyone differently based on their religion. Despite some Muslim organizations justifying their remarks as frustration over Israel, the video has sparked global outrage, exposing a dangerous undercurrent of hate within the medical profession. So this is a scenario that happened that was so crazy. And the responses to it have been crazy. In the sense that the tacit approval, the justification given by some of Australia's top Muslim organizations has been very self-exposing. There should be, how about we just go watch the original video?
Yeah, let's watch the video because it's so I think the main part of the story is not about two Muslims being anti-Semitic, okay? Because
that's not news.
That's not news at all. Yeah, I mean,
what?
Honestly, can I say this? Maybe okay. I would actually be, yeah, I'm gonna say it, okay? If a Muslim is genuinely not anti-Semitic, that is a surprise. I'm gonna say that, okay? I'm not saying they don't exist, but that is a surprise. If a Muslim is genuinely not anti-Semitic, okay? I think a lot of people are shocked about how anti-Semitic these two were, but I think the more important part of the story is how openly and transparently and without hesitation so many Muslim organizations, so many liberal, reformist, moderate Muslims came out to defend these two nurses, not to condemn them.
Commentary on that. We'll get into that. Let's not jump the gun.
Okay, and yeah. So, but before Susanna goes through that, just listen to what they're saying while reminding yourself how many Muslim organizations came into their defense and saying that the public outlash against them is unjustified. So let's listen to what happened, okay? And so this is the video. So the guy on the right is from Israel, and these are the two nurses who lie, say they're doctors, on the left, okay? So these are from Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
From Afghanistan, in nurses in Australia on the left, okay? So watch this.
You know what? Oh shit.
How are you, man?
Good, how are you, my man?
Pretty good. Are you a nurse? A doctor?
I'm a doctor, my man.
A doctor? For what?
In hospital. What about you? Where you from?
I'm from Israel. From the Holy Land.
You know what? I'm gonna be really honest with you.
All right.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. You actually got a really, really beautiful eyes.
Thank you,
but
man.
I'm so upset that you're Israeli. Like, eventually you're gonna get killed and you're gonna go to Jahannam, inshallah. Like this pretty.
Jahannam means hell. For the people who don't know what Jahannam means, Jahannam will eventually
crazy start.
Yeah, so you have beautiful eyes, but
it's so sad because they're gonna be in hell. Like,
because your eyes are gonna be burning in hell. Yeah, so inshallah, you will be dying and going to Jahannam, going to hell.
And you're gonna go to Jahannam, inshallah. Like these pretty eyes, they should stay in this world for longer.
Why do you think? Why do you think I'm gonna get killed?
Also, I think this man is gay. Okay, because can I just show?
Wait.
Like I think this Muslim jihadi nurse pretending to be a doctor guy is gay because can I just go to the beginning? Because he was taken when he saw him, he was like really shocked when he saw him, he was like, oh my god, this man is handsome. Watch the shock when he saw him. Look at him. Look at him.
You know what? Oh shit.
Oh shit. Okay. So when he says, oh, shit, at that moment, he doesn't know this man is Israeli or anything. Why are you saying like, oh, shit? He's so impressed by how this man looks. Just watch one more time. Look at this.
Wait, I'm not entirely sure you're right. because
What?
look how in the corner. So Max here is doing a screen recording of his laptop, right? And here you see the little thing in the corner that says Australia. So it says the country of where the person is at.
Oh, so maybe it's because
And I
it
think
says,
he
"Ooh, this
sees
is
that. When the first time I watched it, my immediate
Ah.
interpretation is that he saw the country
the
and he was like,
country."
"Oh,
Then why
shit."
does he ask where you're from? Okay, so what should let's maybe I don't
Maybe
know,
he's
what should-
confirming. I don't know.
I thought he just
I
had,
like
he
your
just felt something.
interpretation though. You know what? I need the laugh. I need the laugh. I'll take your interpretation. He was taken
I
aback
just
by the man's beauty. He does have
look, yeah,
breathtaking eyes, you know. What we
breathtaking
all
eyes. Yeah,
appreciate.
okay. Yeah, look at that.
You know what? Oh shit.
How are you, man?
Good. How are you, my man?
Pretty good. Are you a nurse? A doctor?
I think my interpretation is correct because he's being too friendly to someone who's from Israel. I think he's just feeling something.
Doctor?
I'm a doctor, my man.
A doctor? For what?
In hospital. What about you? Where you from?
Yeah, no doctor no doctor would tell you what kind of doctor you are in a hospital. Like, yeah, okay, thank you for that clarification.
No, what's your
from Israel.
specialty?
Yeah, what's your specialty?
From the Holy Land.
Right. You know what? I'm gonna be really honest with you.
All right.
I'm gonna be really honest with you. You actually got a really, really beautiful eyes.
Thank you,
But
man.
I'm so.
How is this educated man really beautiful eyes? Like, where is, I don't know. This is supposed to be an educated.
upset that you're Israeli. Like, eventually
what's
you're
your
gonna get
contention
killed
with
and you're gonna
that?
go to Jahannam, inshallah.
Wait, hold on. Listen.
What's your contention?
Thank you,
But
man.
I'm so.
Oh, beautiful eyes. I just think like if you're going to be working in a professional setting in Australia, you shouldn't be using. You
This
should know
is just
your
okay. I'm
English
going to
should-
be honest. This is you as an Iranian being an absolute perfectionist with your English.
Okay, fine,
Because
fine.
I
fine.
misspeak a tiny bit, like those little things, all the time. Also, this
Okay,
dude,
fine.
English is not his first language.
Sure.
You're being
Fine,
a
fine.
perfectionist.
Okay, fine.
Thank you,
But
man.
I'm so upset that you're Israeli. Like, eventually you're gonna get killed and you're gonna go to Jahannam, inshallah.
You
But like
think?
these pretty eyes, they should stay in this world for longer.
What do you?
Like,
Well, here's an Islamic take on this. He shouldn't be worried about those pretty eyes because in hell, when your eyes and your skin and everything, when it burns, the angels it will get miraculously rebuilt so that you could experience the reburning of it over and over and over again. So don't worry about those beautiful eyes in hell
Yeah, they'll
because as they're
regenerate.
burning, they will regenerate. Like, and again, this is based on Quranic verses. I'm not making this shit up.
Why do you think I'm gonna get killed?
because inshallah one day God will. and
Maybe because I
you're gonna-
served in the IDF. That's why.
That's definitely the answer. Correct.
That's the
Yes.
reason, because I served in the IDF. What's the problem with that? What's the issue with that?
I can tell this Israeli guy is just leaning into it. Like, oh, you're offended. You know what he's thinking?
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, this man is offended by me being Israeli, just being Israeli. Like, he doesn't know what I did. He doesn't know my views. Like, he doesn't, like, you don't even ask. Maybe he's one of those Israelis who condemns his regime. Maybe he's one of
Yeah.
those Israelis that is anti-Zionist. No, I don't even care. You're Israeli. You're going to go to Jahannam. So this guy is like, okay, well, let's just feed him a little bit more. Like, maybe it's because I served in the IDF. It's like, let me just trigger this man a little bit more. Love that.
You killed innocent people. That's why.
Killed? I
You
was
guys are-
protecting my country.
So you kill innocent people to protect your country. What kind of soul do you have? You have no soul.
In a war, people die, as you know.
No.
They started
No,
the
that's
war.
Not 1200.
Who
against
started?
57.
It's okay. Your time will come.
Who started?
and I
Who
hope to
started
God-
this war?
I hope you guys.
Who
did
elected
the
Hamas?
peace.
Who elected
This
Hamas?
is
Ooh, I like how. Okay, thank you for showing that to us. Like, who elected? First of all, you know,
Also,
this
why does he point
demonstrates
to
who-
himself?
that's what I'm saying. Okay, because first of all, he's from Afghanistan. How
Yeah.
did he elect Hamas? He's not from Gaza. But this shows two things, right? They take ownership for Hamas. This is the average civilians, okay? So you can see that he's accepting responsibility. And also this shows that the Ummah, the Islamic community, doesn't recognize borders, right? So, like you were like, this guy's from Afghanistan. Why is he pointing to himself when he says who elected Hamas? Because they see all of them as one body, as one community, as one ummah, right? So he's proudly taking responsibility for something like Hamas being in power, even though, I mean, he was not part of the election. Yeah, but thank you for showing that to us. By the way, this guy's such an idiot. He doesn't like. Does he not know he's being recorded? Like, I mean, that's actually something else I think Susanna has a lot to say about.
No, they
don't
didn't.
even understand. Yeah, I mean, but don't. I think these people don't even understand how. First of all, every time you're online, you have to assume you're being recorded, right? So
Facts.
that's dumb, right? But this guy, I don't think they even understand how evil they are being. I don't know, but let's continue.
You guys.
Who elected Hamas? Who elected Hamas?
It's Palestine's country, not your
Hello,
country. You piece
how
of
are you?
shit.
What's your name?
No, none of you.
We're
listen to my
talking
name.
politely
Listen to me.
here. We're talking politely here.
One day, your time will come and you will die the most horrible
You
death.
sprayed
And you
hate.
remember
We
me,
spread
and I
positivity.
pray,
We spread
and I
protection.
want
We
you-
spread
Listen to me.
peace.
Listen to me.
And
when
you
your-
spread
when your
death.
time comes.
How
when
are
your
you
time
doctors?
comes,
Wait.
I want you to remember my face.
Okay,
so
okay.
You can understand
Gotcha.
That you will
I have
die
a question
the most
though.
disgusting death.
All right, for sure. I have a question though.
Yeah,
I have a question. Let's say an Israeli. God
I won't
forbid.
treat them. I won't treat them. I'll kill them.
You'll kill them.
So that lady already knew exactly what he's gonna ask. Like, I can't believe why you guys are doctor. Let's say an Israeli, and that lady did not even wait for the question to be finished. She was like, "Oh, I know where this is going. I will not treat them." And then she went one step further. I will kill them.
Let's say an Israeli. God
I won't
forbid.
treat them. I won't treat them. I'll kill them.
You'll kill them. So if an Israeli is in
and this guy nods. This guy's like, yeah. These people are working in your healthcare system. Guys.
So if an Israeli is in Australia and God forbid something happened to him, and he comes to your hospital,
I hope to God.
Would you kill him?
You have no idea how many Israeli Khara dog came to this hospital, and I sent him to Jahannam. I
For
literally
real?
sent him to Jahannam.
You hear the laughter of that woman. So this guy, she said, "I would kill them." He says, "I have already done that." Guys, send it for people who don't know. I send them to Jahannam means I sent them to hell. You don't know how many people. And look at the lady. She's laughing. Look at the giggles. Listen.
I hope to God.
Would you kill him?
You have no idea how many Israeli Khara dog came to this hospital, and I sent him to Jahannam. I
For
literally
real?
sent him to Jahannam.
For real? So if just Jewish people comes there.
Oh. So that was that. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched that video multiple times. I'm still getting goosebumps every time, even though I've already watched it. Like, I don't know how many times I've watched that. I think I watched it at least 4 times, but I'm getting goosebumps watching it again. It's just how casually they say that and how they talk about other people's lives, just Jewish lives. Not, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to deal with this. But yeah, go ahead. What was the reaction?
Benny is asking, what was he saying? So he was using the Arabic word for shit. So he was saying like how many Israeli shit dogs, basically. One thing that I wanted to highlight to people that I think is really pertinent to understand is that there's a few little dynamics going on here that I wanted to highlight. One of them is that this kind of thing happens when people are in an environment filled with so much anti-Semitism that they are that comfortable to go off like that quickly. Do you understand what I mean? Like you can only be this comfortable saying this kind of stuff so freely and so quickly without provocation if you were in an environment where that is incredibly normalized. Second, the other very important dynamic that I wanted to highlight here is that had the two of them not been together, I do not think it would have escalated it this way. Because as they sit next to each other, I believe they enter a subconscious competition to demonstrate to the other how much they hate the Jew in front of them, how much they hate the Israeli in front of them. And as the conversation goes on and you see them both talking, they're not talking, the nurses are not talking to each other, right? They're talking to the Israeli. But as they are both talking to each other, one raises the stakes, and then the other one raises the stakes, and then the other one raises the stakes. Because I think they subconsciously want to show, oh, no, I can hate him more. I can show him my disgust more. I can show him how horrible and disgusting he is more than you can. Yeah, it's a feedback loop. Yeah, they're one-upping each other. Because, and why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because it is a way for you to gain and demonstrate virtue and status. Because you gain virtue and status from demonstrating that behavior. Because it is a praised behavior in the culture of the environments that you're in. This is just like purely logical. This is a totally normal social dynamic of virtue signaling, except here the virtue signaling is how much can we demonstrate our hate for this Israeli? How much can we demonstrate our hate for this Jew? And it spins out of control. And what gets me is that this dude did not originally provoke them at all. He's just like, oh, hey, what's up, my man? He's like, oh, wow, you got beautiful eyes, but I'll see them in hell. Like, God damn.
I mean, the level of hate. Fucking hate.
So, like I said, the first thing that we need to understand is that this happens when you're in environments where this is normalized, because how else could you be that comfortable saying something like this? Second, that they are clearly in a virtue signaling competition with each other. Okay. Now let's talk about some of the fallout. So this has led to a massive fallout in Australia. They have been fired. They're under investigation. The investigations that have come out so far have said that they have no evidence to believe that they have actually harmed any Jewish or Israeli patients. They have no evidence to believe that they have actually killed any Israeli or Jewish patients. And there's been all sorts of statements by the government and saying that this is not acceptable and all this stuff. Now, mamma mia. We have a situation where there was how many groups here? A huge list. Is there a huge, oh my God, this is so long. I don't know how many people this is exactly. Let's say about 50 of Australia's most prominent community and political bodies and other individuals and figures have come together to sign a statement that was basically condemning the statements that they made. The statement is not about defending inappropriate remarks, but it is about pushing back against the double standard and moral manipulation at play when the mass killing of our brothers and sisters in Gaza is met with silence, dismissal, or complicity.
Wow.
As a community, we stand united against this manufactured moral panic. Direct quote.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Pieces of shit have decided to say that they're basically defending the nurses that were suspended and facing criminal investigation, and basically saying that this is pointing out the hypocrisy of Australian media and Australia's morality because of the silence regarding Gaza, and that where was the here's a direct quote. Point 1, selective outrage and political convenience. Quote, the most revealing aspect of the reaction to the nurse's video is not the nurses itself, but the speed, intensity, and uniformity of the response from certain political leaders and media outlets.
Are you kidding?
He's like, oh, so-and-so came out and declared it as vile and expressing their collective horror. And then they continue, quote, yet the same voices have provided active diplomatic and journalistic cover for the ongoing crimes of the Zionists as blatantly as demonstrated this blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. This is more than hypocrisy. It is calculated, politically motivated outrage. It is not a failure of consistency. It is the deliberate engineering of public morality. I need to break this down on so many different levels. First of all, this claim that the most revealing aspect is the speed, intensity, and uniformity of response. Okay, you fucking idiots. Do you know why it is an existential imperative that every single person of authority acts this way with urgency, with a quickness, expeditiously? Do you know why? It's because, I need a close-up. It is because these attitudes, and when we see these fucking attitudes and these vile, disgusting remarks exhibited by healthcare professionals, do you know what the consequence is? The consequence is that people like this nurse come to Australia as a refugee, as a child, grow up, and then promote anti-Semitism publicly within their role as a healthcare professional, and is single-handedly dragging Australia into a low-trust society. Fuck off. Do you know what the actual consequence is? The consequence is that Jews have a justified suspicion and fear of receiving healthcare from Muslims, especially considering the fact that all these Muslim organizations just came and gave them backup. Do you know what that means? That means that you are actually further justifying any fear and suspicion a Jew has when they receive healthcare. There are studies showing that Jews are hiding their identity when they go receive healthcare in Australia. A lot of people don't have that option because their name, it just shows that they're straight up Jewish, or their nationality shows that they're Israeli. You know what I mean? They don't have that fucking luxury. But a lot of people are trying to hide it because these people are dragging Australia down into a low trust society. So it is an existential imperative for the health of the Australian nation that every single person of authority comes forward to be as quick and expeditious, come down on this as hard as they can, as quick as they can, because they are trying to stop that downward spiral to a low trust hellhole as fast as fucking possible. That's why. Oh my God. What stood out was the speed and urgency. Yes, because it is urgent. It is existentially urgent. You don't understand the consequences. Second point I wanted to make. You can have your opinion about the hypocrisy of the Australian moral landscape all you want regarding a conflict happening on the other side of the fucking world. You can have that opinion. That opinion about the hypocrisy of the moral landscape of Australia is irrelevant to a situation of a healthcare professional showing bigotry towards someone in Australia within that domicile because of their ethnicity, their nationality, or their religion. Those are actually separate things. You're conflating those two things. You're welcome to have your opinion about that so-called hypocrisy. That is separate. And how you feel about that conflict. That is separate than the attitudes expressed by those two nurses while they were wearing their government issue scrubs sitting in a hospital wait room, whatever. Don't conflate those two. Thirdly, and this is what I want to point out. In a sense, I actually, I'm going to say two things. First of all, when all these Muslim organizations found the wherewithal to come together to back up these two nurses, and all of these figures that came together to back up these two nurses, you are actually demonstrating that widespread suspicion is justified. Let's be fucking honest. If you're coming to back up all the statements of these nurses and what they did, then how is any random Australian civilian not supposed to have a widespread skepticism, a widespread wondering, suspicion, because of how loudly and unified you guys came forward to back up these nurses? Wow. You are identifying yourself as part of the threat. You're identifying yourself as part of the threat. There's another thing I wanted to see. There's so much I want to dig into. I just need to get this out, Armin. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. But to a certain extent, I would like to say thank you. I would like to say thank you. Thank you. This is why I love free speech. This is why I love free expression. Because thank you for identifying yourself loudly and proudly as part of the threat. Wonderful. Wonderful. Now we have this on the record. We can always hold this up in front of other people that have any sense of moral clarity to say, look at who these people, believe people when they tell you who they say they are. When the snakes reveal themselves, believe them. And we believe them. And we believe them. And we believe them. So thank you for identifying yourself as a threat. I hope you are all on a watch list. I hope any funding you're receiving from the government gets stripped as fast as fucking possible, expeditiously. That's one of my favorite words. And final thought. People are like, oh, well, people can make all sorts of excuses for this. There is not a single excuse. You want to know why there's not a single excuse? These people are not just identifying themselves as Muslims. They're identifying themselves as full-blown Islamists. You want to know why I say that? Because guess who is a signatory to this letter, Armin? Guess who is a signatory to this letter?
Who? Tell me.
Hizb Tahrir Australia. Hizb Tahrir Australia was allowed to be a public signatory to that defense of those nurses.
Wow. How is that even?
So you guys are full-blown Islamists. Because if you were not Muslims who are full-blown Islamists, you would have seen that the Hizb Tahrir HT Australia is trying to sign that list, and you would have said, never in a fucking million years will we allow that person to stand next to us in this moment. But you did. You allowed it. You published it. That is so revealing beyond anything else that you thought that HT Australia was an appropriate co-signee. So I would like to repeat myself. You have revealed yourself to be the threat. We will be watching you. We will hold this up in front of your face every time you try to act like a fucking cry-bullying victim. Because you showed your true face. The mask slipped off. So I'm glad we had this list. Thank you.
I just want to make it clear when Susie is saying you have revealed yourself, she's not talking about these two nurses, because these nurses are obvious. Like these are the main point. The main story here is not these two nurses, okay? Because these are just two individuals. Then anybody could come and say, well, these are just two people. Why are you guys like, yeah, we have two bad people, okay? The main story here is all these so-called moderate liberal Islamic organizations coming into their defense and also co-signing this letter with Hizb Tahrir. When Susanna is saying the mask has slipped, not of these two nurses. These two nurses don't seem to have had any masks at all, okay? We're talking about the bigger story here. And this is, guys, this is why the liberal moderate Muslims are less than
Irrelevant.
irrelevant, because they are. I mean, last stream I said they're irrelevant because I was copying Yasin Muhammad, what Yasin Muhammad said. But they are. I wish they were irrelevant, because that means that they are not contributing to the solution, but they're also not contributing to the problem. But I think saying they're irrelevant is actually doing them a favor. I would say a more accurate description of what's happening here is that the so-called liberal moderate Muslims, they are a huge part of the problem. A huge part of the problem. I mean, and this is what we will use this example forever. When we had two nurses coming at giving us the most clear example of anti-Semitism, of wanting to kill Jews under their care,
Nazi type shit.
Between at least virtue signaling, coming out and saying, you know what, fuck these two, this is not Islam, these people are an embarrassment to Islam, and all those virtue signalings, they decided to put more of their attention on doing whataboutism and calling out the media outrage as too much, as selective, as biased. That's what at this moment, that's what they decided to focus on. I mean, this is telling what the priorities. I mean, so we have the not so liberal and moderate Muslims actively going out there and planning on killing Jewish people or Murtads or LGBT or ex-Muslims or whatever. And we have the moderate Muslim, by large Muslims, they might not be taking part, but they are actively there, misdirecting the attention or providing cover for such crimes. So that's what the moderates are doing, apparently. The moderates are basically deciding to come out and whitewashing this and belittling how important the level of anti-Jewish hatred that exists worldwide. I mean, this also confirms. Imagine if this was about any other group of people. Imagine if we had a video of a police recording, for example, in the United States, two police officers. I mean, you don't need to imagine. We have that, right? Two police officers in the United States having a conversation regarding wanting to kill black people, whatever, if they get a chance, right? And there was outrage, backlash, justifiable anger towards that. And the police department coming out, okay, from the United States, coming out and co-signing a letter and saying,
the real problem is the urgency in which people were upset by this and condemned it.
Right. Right. Hey, what?
This is the real hypocrisy here, the real story. Oh my God.
I mean, for example, the anti-black hatred exists to the point where we see videos like that existing, right? But you can see how much higher the anti-Jewish hatred is in the world, because that second level of justification exists mostly against the Jews. Do you understand? I want people to understand this. We have anti-black hatred and anti-Jewish hatred. Both, we could see videos of people saying that they want to kill Jews, and we have videos of people secretly saying that they want to kill black people. Both of these exist. But the widespread justification and the fact that they have the audacity to even sign such a letter publicly, not thinking that this does not look evil.
Dude, it's so crazy. The lack of self-awareness.
This level of mainstream justification of anti-Jewish hate does not exist for most other minorities. Is unbelievable. And again, every time something like this happens, I would like to remind everybody, this is why we need Zionism. This is why when people say we might have needed Israel at some point, we don't need it anymore. Jews are safe in the United States. Jews are safe in Canada. Jews are safe in Germany. Jews are safe in Australia. To that I say, Jews seemed very, very safe in Germany before World War II. Jews seemed very safe in Germany right before World War II. And this is why we need Israel. This is why we need Zionism. I went and found some more another video of journalists going to the family of the female nurse, and also I have this picture.
Oh, I
couldn't
haven't
find the
seen
video.
that. Okay.
So I was looking for the video of this. I couldn't find it, but the journalists were basically coming out to this to the male nurse, and I don't know why he's covering his face. We've seen your face, sir. We have seen your face. This makes you look. I mean, this is good. I mean, I like how embarrassed he is. Right?
Hide
So
your
I don't
head
know what's
in
going to
shame.
happen.
Good.
Yeah, shame, right? And also, journalists went to the family of the female nurse to question what was up with that. And this is how the family of the female. Let me actually read the caption of this. The family members of Sarah Abu Lebdan, the Sydney-based Islamist extremist nurse who recorded herself. Well, she didn't record herself, threatening to kill Jews under her care, just assaulted a journalist from the Australian and stole his phone. Why is this family in Australia? So let's watch this. Mate. So this is the family. The journalists were there at her house.
I'm on public property.
Right now.
What?
I ain't give a shit. Get the fuck off
I'm
my
on public property. Do you have what do you have to say about?
She keeps saying, "Get the fuck out of my property." How is the side road your property? Like, I don't understand. Is the street your property? That's public property.
Mate,
Get the fuck off my property. Right now.
I'm on public property.
Right now.
What?
I ain't give a shit. Get the fuck off
I'm
my
on public property. Do you have what do you have to say about the allegations that Sarah?
Move.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Well, I'm on public land. Mate, listen to me, brother. All right, okay. I need my phone back. Hey.
That's assault and theft. So first of all, I want to know are they both arrested, the male nurse and the female nurse? Second of all, is the father of the I think this is father. I don't know. Is this guy arrested?
Or something.
This is this is assault and theft. So are they all arrested? Susie, do you know if they're arrested?
I can't.
They should
remember
all be arrested.
but they're definitely under investigation.
They should be
I think they have
immediately
to be
arrested. How is it?
investigated for if there's anything they can be brought on charges.
Huh? Why? I mean, they publicly demonstrated threats of violence against Jews, and we have this man on recorded doing assault and theft. Let me see.
Not to my knowledge, basically.
Okay, this is a shame to Australia if they were all not immediately.
Dude, it's so awkward. They put out a statement saying that they apologize, and actually, like, it was all just a joke and like a misunderstanding. Like,
you.
do you think we're like, who do you think we are? We can all watch your body language in this rage that immediately enters your entire demeanor as soon as you see this Israeli guy. Like, there's no joke. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Okay, so
absolutely insane. Apparently people are like, oh my god, the nurses are like having panic attacks and they need to go to the hospital and the mental asylum and all this stuff. I have zero sympathy. I couldn't have less sympathy. I couldn't have less care in the world, because once again, the consequence of this is much larger than just how this affects your life or the life of your family. The consequence of this is lowering the trust in society. That is incalculably damaging.
So I got some updates. Let me actually read it. As of now, Ahmad Rashad Nader and Sarah Abu Lebdeh, the two Sydney nurses involved in the anti-Semitic video, have not been arrested. Both have been deregistered by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of NSW, effectively prohibiting them from practicing nursing anywhere in Australia. NSW's police Police's strike force, Pearl, is actively investigating the incident. Okay, so they haven't been arrested. Can I just read some of the details regarding the organizations that you mentioned that came supported them?
Sure.
Is that okay if I just quickly read it? In the aftermath of the controversial video featuring Sydney nurse Ahmad, okay, that's just their names. Several Muslim organizations and leaders have come forward to defend the nurses, framing the public outrage as disproportionate and politically motivated. A coalition of over 50 Muslim groups, including both mainstream organizations and the radical Islamic group Hizb ut-Tahrir. Why would you co-sign a letter with them? This will always be all of these 49 Muslim groups. It will forever be in the record that they co-signed a letter with Hizb ut-Tahrir. Issued a joint statement criticizing what they termed selective outrage and the weaponization of anti-Semitism. Wow. I mean, if this is clearly anti-Semitism. Guys, remember,
It's weaponized.
Forever, every time somebody tells you like, oh, anti-Semitism is being weaponized, remember that 49 at least so-called moderate liberal Islamic mainstream Islamic organizations called this one of the most clear examples of anti-Semitism, the weaponization of anti-Semitism. Just remember that when people are saying that they're misusing that term. So weaponization of anti-Semitism. In response to the incident, they argued that the nurses' comments were expressions of frustrations toward Israeli policies. Imagine if somebody says like, "Oh, we would like some police. If we get a chance, we would kill black people if we could. Like we would want to do it." And somebody came into the defense. This is just the frustration of police because of the intensity of the work that they have to do and the gang violence that they have to feel. They were just frustrated. Like it's not racism. It was just a frustration. Okay. Expression of their frustration towards Israeli police policies rather than genuine anti-Semitism. The statements contended that the swift and intense backlash served a political narrative, especially when juxtaposed against perceived silence over actions in Gaza. Yes, silence over actions in Gaza. Sure, silence. In Australia, in a country where people came into the streets to say gas the Jews in response to October 7th. Not only there was not silence, after October 7th, before Israel had any chance to even respond, in the streets of Australia, we had Muslims in the streets shouting gas the Jews.
Yeah.
What silence are you fucking talking about?
Yeah.
The Australian Federation of Islamic Councils and the Islamic Council of Victoria and Western Australia were among the signatories. They emphasized that while the nurses breached medical conduct codes, the reaction to their statements was disproportionately severe and overlooked broader geopolitical context. Okay, I'm gonna stop reading there. That's insane. That's fucking insane. Sorry, I went for a while. I just wanted to make sure that we get that part clear because that's the most important part.
Let's go through the comments that D found.
Oh, okay. Oh, by the way, they went and investigated the male nurse and they found morphine. A vial of morphine in Nutter's personal locker that apparently he took from the hospital. So that's just
Cool. Charge him with that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go look at the comments. What the fuck? Look at this comment. D, why are you doing this to us? D, what the fuck? Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay. So Asaf Ali, his comment in responding to all this is Western commentaries have become slaves of Israel. look at D. She knows exactly what she's doing. God damn it.
Oh my god.
Woman. God damn you.
Okay. And then okay, so let's look at the comment. This one.
Wait, scroll up for Drew's comment for context. Drew Pavlov, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the largest nurses union in Australia, prefaced their statement condemning 2 Islamist extremist nurses threatening to kill Jewish patients by clarifying that they also oppose Islamophobia. Thank God. God damn it.
Oh, wow.
Oh
thank
my
you.
God.
Unfucking believable.
Guys, the bar is in hell.
I mean, based on this, let's go back to the comment above, because I think based on what we see here, this would be more accurate. Western countries have become slaves of who? Exactly. I mean, look at the way they bend the knee to the Muslim
Yeah.
community. Unfucking believable. Even after in face of such anti-Semitism. Okay, so this person, how is this responding?
When Muslims go on videos saying they want to kill me, it's reassuring to know any fear I feel is just a phobia.
That's a good way.
Wait, that's actually so funny.
That's a good one. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah, guys, don't worry. If a medical
It's just in your
professional
mind.
has threatened the people on the basis of your nationality or religion, ethnicity, the suspicion you feel is just a rational fear. Remember, that's the definition of a
Irrational.
phobia.
It's all in your
Irrational
head.
fear.
It's all.
Yeah.
This
Dude,
is
the
a
gaslighting
mental.
is monumental.
It's just a mental condition that you have. Don't be afraid. Okay, what is this one? Oh, this is
Drew also said, I don't. Oh, yeah. So the male nurse was saying that this is just a joke, a misunderstanding. Drew is saying, I don't think it's a funny joke for a nurse to record themselves at a hospital in Australia threatening to murder Jews. He only became a citizen 4 years ago. He clearly disrespects basic Australian values. Deport. And
well, here's the thing: you can't deport this
now
guy.
you can't.
There's no way
now
to.
you can't.
He
This
just
is
said,
Australia's
this is the
forever.
problem. You made him a citizen. Congratulations, Australia. This guy, you're stuck with this guy. You cannot deport him. Fuck. Yeah.
Just a misunderstood comedian.
His comments are gold. Fantastic. Oh my god. Okay, so let's do the comments, the super chats, and the comments you starred in the chat.
Yes. Okay, so Kenny gave a super chat, our lovely volunteer Kenny, saying bad week indeed, hope this helps. Well, thank you, Kenny. You do so much to support Atheist Republic and keep us going. And you still give us super chats anyways. It's so sweet.
Thank you.
Gajan also sent a super chat saying, as someone who's going into the healthcare field, even if the failed art student, okay, we know who he's referring to, or Mukai Toshiaki, who was a Japanese war criminal perpetrator of the Nanking massacre, for those who don't know. Even if those two were before me, I would still do my best. What the F is this? Exactly. How many Israeli medical professionals are treating Palestinian terrorists on the regular? And then they send them back to Palestine, and then they go on to, plan terrorist attacks against Israel. They manage to navigate this moral and ethical quandary all the time.
I don't know if I agree with that, by the way. If you have those people in front of you, I mean, I'm a utilitarian, so I look at the consequences. I don't look at principles. I look at consequences. So I'm not, when it comes to ethics, I'm not a virtue ethicist. I'm a consequentialist. So I don't know if you, for example, Israel treated Yahya Sinwar, right? And they saved his life. And October 7th happened after, under his leadership. Was it a good idea to treat that man and save his life? I don't know. I mean, so if Hitler, like, if you are, like, let's say a German surgeon, and if they bring Hitler as a patient to you, and you decided to kill him under the surgery to save Germany and the rest of the world, would I be like condemning you and saying like, oh my God, you should have done your duty at that point because you're a doctor? No, I would like, that man is a fucking hero. Like, am I wrong about this? Like, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I mean,
I've
the consequences are also deeper than that, though, because it's like, what are the consequences of violating medical ethics? Like, what are the consequences to that as an institution? Like, medical neglect is a form of torture under international law. I think it's one of the
but
worst
if it's
forms of
Hitler,
torture.
but if it's Hitler, fuck all of that.
Yeah,
If
I
it's
know.
Hitler,
I'm just
fuck all of it.
providing some context for why people would have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of don't want to entertain that argument, because then people like these fucking piece of shit nurses would feel morally justified in doing what they're doing because they feel the same way about any given Israeli.
Well, they're fucking wrong. I mean, just because they're already gone, they're already too like I don't care about them, because I don't think like they already feel justified. I don't think me saying that maybe assassinating Hitler under your surgery is a good idea. I don't think it's going to make them more convinced that their position is correct. I think they're already too far gone. So I don't think I'm gonna have that influence. I think about the consequences of actions rather than principles. Principles do not always hold. Sometimes it makes sense to look at the cost of what
I understand, but my baseline retort is that there are also consequences to violating that principle.
Yeah, but there are exceptions. This is why these should be rules, not principles. Rules that in extreme circumstances you will violate. Most of the time you won't, but under very rare circumstances you should be able to violate them.
Well, I don't want to get into this whole discussion right now, but
okay.
I understand your point, and I'm saying yes, and there's still consequences to that. Mortal Wombat gifted 5 Atheist Republic memberships. Thank you so much for supporting us, Mortal Wombat. And that's actually a good reminder to everyone that one of the best ways that you can support the channel is by becoming a member. Hit the link. Actually, no, down here in this direction. Join.
I should keep count.
Angry Keyboard Warrior also gifted a super chat saying, "I have difficulty remembering the faces of hijabi women." I would say maybe that's a slight case of prosopagnosia, which is also known as facial blindness, which is a very interesting cognitive disorder. But actually, prosopagnosia excludes the hair. It's isolated solely to the face. So I don't know. I don't know what to call this, but I think that might be a you thing. Although I've always thought about, there's this hysterical video. I don't remember what country it's in, and it's a teenage guy, and he's in a market, and it's all these women wearing like full abaya, and they're all black, and he's trying to find his mom in the market, and he's going like, "Mama," because the women are all dressed the same. He's like, "Where are you?" I don't know. It kind of reminds me of that. Like, I just think about being a little kid, and when you're 5 years old and you lose your mom in the grocery store for a second, it's like the worst feeling in the world. But imagine if you're trying to find your mom and all the women are dressed the same. It'd be terrifying.
Chickens and roosters recognize each other mostly by the thing that they have on their head. What is that thing called? So if you cover it, they can't tell each other apart. So maybe like it's kind of like that. If you give them hijab, they're not gonna. The rooster is not gonna recognize his wives from apart.
Actually, that person saying that they have a hard time recognizing hijabi women, and it might actually still be facial blindness, because people that struggle with different degrees of facial blindness, they help recognize people not on the basis of their facial features, but they recognize people on other characteristics like their hair, or the sound of their voice, or their height, or their dress. So without the face, maybe you're relying on the hair to help recognize people, but you don't have that available to you. I don't know.
Interesting.
I love learning about neuropsychology. Doran gave a $20 super chat. Wow, thank you for being so generous.
Thank you.
Saying at this point, if anyone doesn't understand or accept that Islam is a really bad set of ideas that lead to hatred, division, misogyny, and violence, it is willful ignorance or a sign that they actually think Islam is good. I am inclined to agree, but I also know plenty of people in my life that literally just know nothing about Islam. And they have probably mostly just met Muslims in their life that are perfectly lovely, very nice, hospitable people, and they associate that with Islam, and they know nothing about the teachings. Like, I remember having a conversation with a barista of mine at a cafe I go to all the time, and we were talking about religion or something. She's like, "Oh yeah, I've actually been like really interested in Islam recently. It seems like a peaceful religion, blah blah blah." And I like had I vocally exclaimed, I was like, "Oh no, honey!" Like, but there are people that out there that are like, they genuinely think that. They just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting how so many people just judge what Islam is based on the Muslims that they know. And it's also interesting how Muslims themselves sometimes think like that is the proper explanation for why Islam is good. They're like, hey, look, I don't want to kill anybody. Like, okay, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about Islam. Like, but I'm a Muslim and I haven't killed anybody and I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. They're like, okay, well, I wasn't talking about you. I wasn't talking about you. Like, how's that's relevant? But so many people make that argument, and it's interesting.
Yeah. And this is separate from knowing Muslims that you hold in positive regard.
Right.
You know, it's completely separate from having a positive sentiment towards any given individual. But people easily confuse them, and you know, that's natural. Kenny also gifted 5 memberships.
Yay.
Thank you so much, Kenny.
So
Absolutely.
we are at 242 members. That's an increase of 19%. So we're trying to get it to 1,000, guys. If we get to 1,000 members, then we have no more financial problems on this channel. Okay, so keep memberships. YouTube memberships is a really good way to support this channel. So thank you to everybody who is a member and also everybody who's considering becoming a member. Thank you. They're actually very cheap to be a member.
Yes. Also, I need to check how many members we have, because I mean, like, there are different tiers where we can unlock new emojis, and I think it's time for us to add some more emojis, which is exciting.
Ooh,
Uriel
nice.
gave £5. No comment, just £5. Thank you, Uriel.
Thank you.
And Angry Keyboard Warrior saying, are Jews justified in feeling Islamophobic or scared of Muslims? I would phrase it a little bit differently. I would say, personally, if you felt suspicion or skepticism until proved otherwise, I think that's justified.
Islamophobic is not the right term.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an example that I would use. Okay. If a woman is alone at night, 2 a.m., let's say, at the bus station, there's no one around, and a man shows up, okay, and she gets nervous and scared, is she justified to feel scared? Yes. Does that mean that that man is necessarily a threat? Is this an anti-man view? You know, are we condemning the man without knowing much about him? No. Okay. But that it's not. It might not be fair to that man. Okay. But that woman is justified to feel that threat. At the same time, we're not saying that that man is necessarily a threat, but the woman is justified to feel the threat.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how I would. That's the example I would use.
Here's the thing. It might not be nice, but it's a matter of self-preservation.
Right.
And I'm just like a realist about that. I'm not going to call it something it's not. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest here. Let's be all the way real here. Gaijin gave a super chat saying, we are lucky they reveal themselves. People can always make tiny mistakes. A dosage wrong within a margin of error. And so and then speaking within a medical context, like they okay, now I understand it. So he's like, okay, we're lucky that these nurses revealed themselves because they can always be making tiny quote unquote mistakes towards a patient, like getting a dosage wrong, or they could be having intentionally longer wait times for a patient and all this stuff. Exactly. It's dangerous to have people like this in the medical system 100% Cajun, and I'm glad that they're gone. We are lucky that they revealed themselves.
So, for example, if a Jew, if it like based on what you just Asian American, if you are a Jew and your doctor is a Muslim, and you feel like, you know what, I prefer to have a non-Muslim doctor, you're completely justified to want that.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying. Yeah,
and I wish that wasn't the case, but that's where we are right now. Angry Keyboard Warrior. Yeah. Oh, this is a good point. Gave another super chat saying, which is it? Is it a misunderstood joke or is it a setup? Which is it? Because we're hearing both narratives right now. Oh, this was a setup. This was a setup, which is why the influencer released the complete unedited video that we've shown earlier to show that this was not a setup. This was not taken out of context. So is it a setup or is it a misunderstood joke? Pick a narrative.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah. Sketch Therapy gave a super chat saying, every day Norm MacDonald's Islamophobia joke is better and better. Yes. Yes, it is. Gingasaurus gave 15 shekels. Thank you. Saying, thank you guys. Keep on the good work. Still didn't figure out how to become a member. Oh, Ginga. Okay. Someone actually, no, I can put a link directly in the live chat, I think.
There's
second.
a join button right next to the subscribe button. Yeah,
Okay,
and
I
also
think
there's
this
a
should
link
do
in the
this for you.
description.
If you follow the link that I just put in the live chat, it should take you directly to become a member. Or you might
Is the
need to
option
change
not
some,
available?
you might
Is
need to
the
change
option?
some settings. No, people
Yeah,
become
or is
members
the
during the
option not
stream all the
available in
time.
Israel? Yeah, we have Israeli members.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, this isn't Twitch, okay?
Yeah.
YouTube is not Twitch.
That's a that's a good.
They
That's
don't
a
you know,
good.
YouTube doesn't ban half the world's Jews from its platform, so
Right.
Asian American gave another super chat saying, in China, a Red Note influencer, referring to the app Red Note, a Red Note influencer is selling Adam's apple coverings criticizing restriction on women. The red chicken part is called a comb. Okay, these are two separate comments. The word we're looking for, okay, is a comb. So you cover the comb, chickens are like, who are you?
You know,
China,
it's
Red Note
good.
influencer is selling Adam's apple coverings criticizing restrictions on women. Wouldn't that just be restrictions on trans women? Because women don't need to cover an Adam's apple because they don't have one. I'm confused.
Okay.
But regardless. And Sketch Therapy also said, would those nurses kill Christians and LGBTQ? Yes. Look, to be honest, I'm not going to make that assumption. I don't think they have that same level of unbridled rage when dealing with a random Christian or a gay person. But maybe they feel disgust, but I don't think it's that level of just like lose my mind rage.
Yes. I mean, yeah, when it comes to Jews, I think the only people, if I say this, they might think like I'm saying this because I'm one. But I could be argued, maybe I'm wrong, that ex-Muslims are the, competing when it comes to rage, when it comes to hatred that Muslims have towards people. The only people that could compete with Jews are ex-Muslims. But maybe I'm saying that because I am an ex-Muslim. So maybe I'm a biased source to that information. It's true. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially female ex-Muslims.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
And Gingasaurus Figured
Yay,
it out.
fan.
Stegosaurus just became a team member.
Yay!
Welcome to Satan's Minions. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Engagement is clarifying they're selling Adam's apple coverings to men. Cool.
Oh.
I'm kind of curious about what that looks like. Is it just like
But let's
just tape on your throat?
we're
Anyway,
getting off topic. Yeah.
Occasion is also saying that my
Yeah.
Abrahamism is showing.
Showing, yes. Well, we are ex-Abrahamics, so obviously.
You can't take away what I am. Sketch Therapy also said negligence kills 100% and disgust may lead
Right.
to unequal care 100%, which is why we should all be thankful that they revealed themselves and they're banned from performing medical care.
Can I tell you know my father is a heart surgeon, okay? And during the Iran-Iraq war, he was serving as a doctor in the military, right? And in an underground hospital during the war, right? During the Iran-Iraq war. And when he was there, at one point they used to bring Iraqi prisoners sometimes, and they would hold them there. And one time they brought Iraqi prisoners that were injured. And my dad wanted to treat them. And the soldiers there were not letting him, telling him, why would you want to treat enemy soldiers? These are our enemy. And my dad told them that if you do not let me treat these soldiers, I would leave. So you have to make a decision if you want me here or not. And then when he said that, they allowed him to treat those soldiers. So that was a story that my dad had. You know, these were hospitals under the ground that they used to hear bombs being dropped on them, and they were like bomb resistance hospital under the ground. But anyway, sorry, I just had to.
No, I think that's important. You know, doctors take their medical ethics like very, very seriously, and that's why the principle versus the conversation, the consequences argument that you brought up earlier, I think is like pretty dangerous territory. Like, I don't personally, that's not a area of eliminating ethics for the sake of consequences that I'm like inclined to throw away so easily. So shall we move on to the next news? Any final thoughts?
Okay. No final thoughts. You had two comments start. You don't want to read those, right? You start them.
Nikki is saying you should talk to the traveling Clat. He is Israeli and lots of his friends watch your stream. I actually really like the traveling Clat. Cool guy. Really cool guy. Big fan.
So yeah, we should. Can you reach out then? Maybe we could have a.
Maybe, I don't know.
Talk with him. That would be cool. Yeah.
I want to go to Israel. I want to go to Israel this year, but I can't.
The only two places that I've traveled to more than 34-ish countries, and the only two places that I would desperately want to go back to is Israel and Japan. Like, I would go out these two countries, I would travel to them over and over and over again if I could. Anyways. Clap.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna lie, for the rest of the news, like, we cannot clap today.
Oh shit. Okay. Well, then next news.
Okay. Next news. When will it end? Islamist slaughters teen in knife attack in Austria. In a peaceful afternoon in I don't know how to pronounce.
Wait, hold on.
What?
Sorry, I think I brought the wrong news.
Oh, you
Sorry,
did.
can you give me a second.
Did I mess it up?
Give me a second.
No, I didn't.
No, this is completely my fault. I apologize. Bigly. Would you mind doing it from the beginning?
Yes. Gladly.
Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Next news.
Okay, next news. When will it end? Islamist slaughters teen in knife attack in Austria. A peaceful afternoon in Villach, I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry, guys. Austria turned into a nightmare on February 15th when a 23-year-old Syrian asylum seeker unleashed a brutal knife attack, killing a 14-year-old boy and injuring 5 others in broad daylight. Armed with a folding knife, the attacker slashed at random passersby in the city's main square until Aladdin al-Halabi, a Syrian food delivery driver, became an unexpected hero. Quote, I didn't think twice and I drove at him. It threw him several meters away, al-Halabi recalled, adding with heartbreak, if I had been faster, the 14-year-old might not have died. Austrian authorities later revealed that the attacker had pledged allegiance to ISIS, with police finding ISIS flags and evidence of rapid online radicalization in his home. Quote, this was an Islamist attack with ties to ISIS, declared Interior Minister Gerhard Karmer, igniting a national outrage. As the town mourns the senseless loss, al-Halabi's courageous act stands out as a powerful reminder that even in the face of terror, humanity can still rise. So let's give a bit of a background. So the perpetrator, who I think his name has just only been revealed as like Ahmad G, I don't know his full name, came to Austria, I think when he was a minor, and he was granted asylum, to my knowledge. And what has been reported so far is that basically he went through a process of rapid online radicalization over the span of just like 3 months, apparently, and was all following all sorts of ISIS stuff all over his TikTok. And I don't know, for whatever reason, one day just decided to go to the town square and just start attacking a bunch of people with knives. He killed a 14-year-old boy. He injured 5 others who were, I think, all men. I think a few people were in critical condition, might still be in critical condition. And what ended up happening was that there was this guy who was a delivery driver, and who himself was a Syrian national who'd come to Austria for asylum. This delivery driver just sees this attack happening and just straight up drives into the attacker. And he is able to stop the attack because he just hit the attacker with his car. I actually thought it was really sad how it seems like he almost blames himself a little bit, because he said, if I had been faster, like that boy maybe wouldn't have died. Even though he probably saved many people's lives by taking really quick action in hitting the attacker. And so basically the attacker gets hit with the car, he goes flying back, he's kind of like knocked back and whatever. At that point. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Basically, police are able
Your
to
mic switch. Your mic switch, by the way. While you figure that out, can I show the picture of the guy? Because while you were speaking, I went and found look at this. Is this the moment after he killed the 14-year-old boy while the police is trying to arrest? Is this the same? Look the way he's chilling. Holy
absolutely
shit,
chilling.
This guy's look at this monster. This is after he killed the 14-year-old boy, and when the police is trying to arrest him. And look at the smile on that face.
Smiling with the Tawhid finger.
Oh yeah, with the Tawhid finger. He's basically pointing with the oneness of Allah. Look at that. Look how this is the face of evil. What the fuck? Okay, but go on. Sorry, your mic is correct now.
No, you basically said exactly what I wanted to highlight.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. It's so infuriating how in the face of this, there are still like community leaders that come forward and say that, this is not the true face of Islam. every single time that these events happen. Like, how often there were so many attacks that happened over the past week. It was crazy. When I was researching this story yesterday, I realized that there were attacks that happened that I didn't even hear about. There was this attack. There's the attack that we're going to cover next. There was an attack in France that I didn't even know about that killed a person while the guy was screaming Allahu Akbar. There was the other one. Then there was the one that happened just a few days ago that we're not covering this week. That was the attack at the Holocaust Museum in Germany. Like, it's out of control. Absolutely out of control. And I don't know if people within Europe see it this way. The way that I see it is that personally, if I was living in Europe, I would not see these as separate attacks. I would not see this as, oh, this happened in Austria, this happened in Germany, this happened in England, this happened in France. Like, all of those happening simultaneously. It might not literally be my country, but I would be feeling the effects of that. I would identify with it to some extent. When these happened across the Atlantic, I identify with that. Because I identify with the feeling of saying it's not a matter of if it happens, it's when it happens. Because I've said this before and I'll say this again. For people of my age, we do not know a different world. I do not know a different world. I do not know a world of, oh, if this would happen. I only know a world for my entire life of when will this happen. And I personally believe that it is a moral and existential imperative to come up with the strictest deportation regime possible and start looking at how to repatriate people as quickly as possible. We'll talk about this a little bit on the next story because part of my commentary is specific to Germany and the next story is in Germany. But it's like how I titled this story, just when will it end? When will it end? Even the authorities themselves said that they would not have been able to prevent this attack, even if there were more monitoring or whatever, because he was a lone wolf. They have no evidence to believe that he acted with anyone else. But I think we can all identify that there are certain populations that are more vulnerable to this kind of attack than others. This isn't rocket science. Like, a genuine question. Like, I'm not like being play, whatever. Like, why is this so common with asylum seekers and refugees from a Muslim background? Are there any examples of a refugee of a Christian background doing these kinds of attacks? If a refugee of a Christian background gets their application rejected, I'm actually genuinely asking, is there a single instance of them going and creating a revenge attack against society, the society that housed them for years? Like, I personally cannot think of a single example. What is it that justifies this mentality of it is acceptable and righteous for me to go commit an attack against all society because I'm upset? that is constantly originating out of this. And John is saying we have the ex-Muslim guy in Germany in the Magdeburg attack. Yeah, no, but that still applies to what I'm saying. He's a guy of a Muslim background. I'm like genuinely questioning, like, what is there a single example of like a Christian immigrant or refugee like doing something like this? The closest thing that I can think of is Axel Rudakabana. He didn't have a Muslim background. He was just a fucking freak.
I mean, even if you can find examples, it's just the numbers are so widely different.
Yeah.
That these exceptions don't matter in the whole scale of the. Yeah. I mean, we have somebody who disagrees with us in the chat, and I wanted to respond to that, but I was waiting until you make your point.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
So, okay, so Kelvin's saying, I'm not for mass deportation nor mass migration. Immigration requires nuance. And then Kelvin says, some people do need help from persecution, right?
Sure.
The thing is that you have enough people that you could, because every country has their own quota, right? And that they, under international law, they're required to help people from other places, right? And I'm just, why wouldn't you just do that with non-Islamic countries? Why don't you just fill your requirements from non-Islamic countries? It's not like the same amount of people are going to be helped anyways, right? So why would you have to go? Why would you risk your country by bringing in people from Islamic, even if they do deserve help? The thing is that these countries have demonstrated to be either incapable or unwilling or lack the resources to be capable of such nuance or the capability to detect exactly who to let in. I mean, given the vast numbers of people who are clearly economic migrants and not refugees coming in with the name of refugees, well, then just shut the whole fucking thing down. Like, I told Susanna this example. I gave her this example, right? So imagine if one of your fingers has an infection, and if you don't cut the finger off, it's going to spread and you're going to die, right? And then I come to you, and then we say, like, you know what, this finger is infected, but we don't know, maybe this infection has spread to some other fingers as well, and maybe cutting the finger is not enough, and let's just cut off the entire hand. You could come and argue to me that, listen, those 4 other fingers are not infected, and it would be a waste to cut off the entire hand because it's only this one finger that is infected. And I ask you, well, are you sure? You're not sure. So it might be true that cutting those 4 other fingers, these 4 other fingers are not a problem. And it might be true that cutting the entire hand would be a huge waste. That might be true. But do you want to risk it? Given that that risking it could actually risk the entire body, that you could actually die if you try to risk, for the sake of those 4 fingers that might not be problematic, you might be actually, your life and death is actually being at risk here. This is an existential crisis. So even though it might be a waste, cut off the entire hand. Cut off the entire hand. Even if it was a waste to cut off those other 4 fingers. I don't know. You could go and then find those examples of the people that deserved to be protected, and people that their lives have been ruined because of such policies, and you would be rightfully angered by why we didn't help them. And you could also agree you would be correct to see that those people were deserving of help and support. But that cost, I see that cost and that tragedy, and I put it next to the weakening of the very foundations of countries, the principles and way of life and the values that has made certain countries so much better and a role model for the rest of the world to progress. Like the when we're talking about Western liberal countries, we're talking about a method and a roadmap and certain values that has brought us out of such high level of misery that if you threaten the foundations, the values that made these countries like that, the consequences of those are so much higher to the entire world compared to the examples of people that you could find for me that deserved help and we did not help. I don't know if I am effectively communicating this with you guys or not. Like, do you guys understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
It might seem cruel, but I'm just doing a cost benefit analysis. This is this is all comes to people's lives. And I'm talking all people's lives, the entire world. I'm not just talking about protecting liberal countries, Western countries. I'm talking for the sake of the whole world. Because even if non-Western countries or non-liberal countries, if there's any hope for them to get to a place where they have better lives, we need to keep the countries that have made that progress where they are at, so that those other countries could reach them. If they fall, everyone falls. If they fall, everyone falls. So I'm just talking, this is about numbers of people hurt. This is not about not valuing other people's lives. This is about how many lives are we talking here.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I'm very interested in Denmark's policies, because Denmark
Yes.
has taken a strong stance on this kind of thing from a left-leaning perspective, actually. They've brought down their refugee numbers as low as humanly possible. They are doing all sorts of things, like how they're breaking up ghettos. They're mandated like language classes and integration classes and all this stuff. It goes much deeper. And frankly, if we're being completely honest, if countries, because a lot of it, like from a legal perspective, you cannot have discrimination on the basis of like nationality or religion, right? Well, if countries just looked at the question of where are countries of origin where people, as a statistical fact, are net contributors to the welfare state versus people who never positively contribute to the welfare state, and just looked at it from that perspective and said, we are going to accept the lowest possible number of people of countries of origin that are never net contributors to the welfare state. They are only a net drain on the welfare state. If you purely look at it from that perspective and just say, we're just going to take as low possible people of the people that are net negative to the welfare state and just cut that out, that would solve like 90% of the problem. And we only know that in Denmark because Denmark is like the only country that actually tracks that kind of information.
Right. I mean, it's clear that the economic argument does not apply to people coming from Middle East and North Africa. Like, we have studies in this, because a lot of people who are against these very extreme policies against migration, they will point you to studies that shows that migration is a net benefit to the economies of the countries. Okay, and some people say, like, you know what, even if that is true, fuck that, we rather economically grow a little bit slower and not have our values and our safety be threatened in such a way. But the point is that actually there are other studies that show. Yeah, but here's another thing. There are studies that actually, when it breaks it down, there are certain types of migration that is actually not an economic benefit to your country. That's true, as a whole. Migration, when done right, is good for a country's economy. But there are many studies out there now that if you actually break it down to migration from North Africa and Middle Eastern countries, is actually it has been a net cost
No,
economically.
it's
to a
MENA
country.
plus Pakistan.
MENA. So North Africa, Middle East, and Pakistan, and Afghanistan. I would add, because Afghanistan is not in the Middle East either, right?
Yeah, it wasn't included in
So-
that data set, but
But I could bet that's also true. Okay, so that based on that data set, that's, you're actually not benefiting in any way, not economically, not culturally, not safety. It's it's a cost in every way that you could measure it.
across the
by the way,
entire
I also wanna-
lifetime. Because that's what people don't
Yes,
understand.
yes.
When you're a kid, you're a drain on the welfare state. Then you grow, you
Yeah.
contribute, and then you get older, and then you pull from the welfare state again.
Right.
There are
So
some
for all
countries of origin that never break even. They never pass
yes.
the contributor.
So for
baseline.
every for basically what Susanna said, for every demographic, when you're a child or when you're old, you're a net drain economically. But for some communities, you're a net drain always, even in the working period of your working age. You're still a net drain to society, and that's the people from North
and
Africa, Middle
to be
East.
clear, it's not a matter of what generation you are. Because sure,
Mm.
maybe if you're a first generation immigrant, that might be a thing. And I don't think anyone would begrudge that. Well, I mean, some people would. That's expected. But we're talking about multiple generations and still observing that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So even if you're not a first generation migrant, you're a second or third generation migrant from that area, you're still a net drain on average to society. That's insane. And also, by the way, can I go back to this picture of this person? Look now, because a lot of people think oh, the Muslims who are a threat are the ones with the beard, with the weird Pakistani clothing. But look, I mean, this guy looks like an average young
Any
kid,
given 23-year-old I would see.
Yeah, you don't see the big beard, you don't see that Islamic, I don't know, whatever they put on their head.
The little
You don't see
skull cap.
the Pakistani dress that men wear. You don't see any of that. This is so this
Do you
makes
mean
the
a
level of
thobe?
threat a lot.
Is that what you mean?
I don't know what the fuck you call that. Whatever they
Dude,
wear.
I'm not gonna lie, a thobe looks comfortable. Sorry. I had this conversation with my boyfriend recently. I was like, low key, if you were wearing a thobe, I wouldn't mind. It looks comfortable as hell.
I don't know. I consider it backwards. Maybe I'm being
That's
racist.
just because of your westernized Iranian mindset.
Actually, in Iran, people are disgusted by that kind of clothing more than in the West. Iranians consider that type of clothing as a demonstration of backwardness more than I've seen people in Western countries see that. So this is Iranians brainwashing me, not Westerners brainwashing
Yeah,
me.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's how deep it goes.
Yeah.
Let's go
Yeah.
to the comments that Dee found.
Yeah, okay.
So this is the young boy that lost his life.
No,
And
fucking
one thing
hell.
that I was thinking about when I was looking at this story and I was thinking about all of his classmates. And I was thinking of the classmates and the friends of this boy. And maybe people that weren't even his friends, just kids that go to his school. And how deeply this affects the entire community. Because I remember at my high school when there was a student that did a self-deletion, how that affected everyone far beyond the people that were just friends with that boy. And think about how those kids are going to grow up and what they're going to feel.
Right.
I don't know.
Oh, by the way,
how
you
does
had a video-
how does a child of this generation grow up and how do they vote?
they're gonna vote. I don't know, maybe Reform or AFD. I think like maybe
In
these
Austria, it's the
parties are going
Freedom
to
Party.
Yeah, I think they're gonna vote like that. I think in Europe, I think that's the future of Europe. I don't know. We'll see.
They brought it upon themselves.
We
Politicians.
had a
let me be
video by
clear.
the. We had a video, by the way, that you had for this. We forgot to play that, but maybe we'll do it after these comments if you want.
Honestly, with the video, I don't think we have time for it anymore.
Okay, sounds good. You want to read the caption or the comment? Let's do the comment.
Yeah, so this person is saying should have been shot on the spot. Well, I mean, that's not strictly necessary because he could be brought to trial, all that stuff. Saying also, why are Syrians still, what are they still doing in Europe now that Bashar is gone? Send them back to their utopia. Well, I believe, man, I'm gonna conflate Austria and Germany right now. But it's my understanding that either or is revisiting or actually no longer accepting applications from Syria because of the ousting of Assad. So that's actually changing. But in terms of people that are already there, so they're like, okay, we're not accepting new people because the political situation has changed. And again, I cannot remember correctly if I'm talking about Germany or Austria right now because the next story is about Germany. But and then I know that Germany is revisiting their laws and their policies regarding if they can deport people back to Syria. But I'm going to talk about that more in the next news.
Okay, I don't. This woman, by the way, I don't want to take advice from anybody who has the flags of North Korea, China, and Russia in their username. Okay, so, but,
yeah,
I mean,
Maverick
I
is
don't
saying.
care if you're
Wait, where is it? Those flags! Oh my god.
Yeah. I don't care if you're making the right point or not. Here, this is a huge red. All of these flags are red flags for me. Okay,
and no, and that's why they're pissed about the Syrians. Wait, I just put it back together. That's why they're pissed at calling it utopia.
Oh yeah.
Wait.
Oh, this is an Assad fan. Oh, now I see it.
The resentment jumped out.
Oh, so like, is this what you wanted? Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, this person, it could be me, but it seems like there's some sort of pattern.
Yeah.
Look, I don't want to be one of those people there's like a trend online of people who call themselves like noticers. They're like, oh, I'm just noticing. I'm just a noticer. It's kind of like I'm a just asking questions kind of person, but they're just a straight up anti-Semite. I want people to be clear that we're not falling into that trap because what we're talking about is backed up by so much data. This is not just noticing an anecdotal pattern globally. This is statistically supported as a real pattern. Not like
that's a good point to make.
Anti-Semites being like, I'm noticing a pattern.
Yeah, because I'm so glad you said that because guys, the human brain sucks at pattern recognition. Do not rely on your brain at pattern recognition. You have to use data. When we say the things that, so when we feel like we're noticing a pattern, we're skeptical about it. We go check the data to see if the data, I'm not saying dismiss your pattern recognition. If you're noticing it, don't dismiss it, but go and check the freaking data to see if the pattern that you think you're recognizing is actually backed by data. And I know Susie does that. Okay, so that's what we're saying. Like, yeah.
Okay, so let's go to comments and super chats.
We got so many super chats. First of all, I just want to thank today. We got so many super chats. I really want to thank our community, for every time I say community, I have to make fun of it because sometimes I think it's cringe to say our community. I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I really want to thank you guys. This is like, you guys are so supportive. Like, you guys don't understand the amount of super chats and members that we get is comparable to a channel that has 200,000 subscribers, not a channel that has 70,000 subscribers. That's why I'm really grateful that
And
this
it
is the
keeps us
fan base we
going.
have. And
Is the
yeah, it
fuel to
keeps
our
us going.
engine.
Yeah.
Okay, super chats. Sketch Therapy is saying, Armin, you spoke on stream with Apostle Prophet and Dawood. David Wood, going over the Shia version of Dawa with them or alone. Is this still a possibility?
Yes.
It'd be an interesting conversation.
Yes,
I still really want to
yes.
see that.
Yes, I should do that.
There's just so much
I
crazy
have
shit
so much
going
to
on
do.
in our issue sphere right now. I think that's kind of on the back burner.
I will have to follow up with that. Yes.
I would love that. I loved the last stream that you guys did together. Sketch Therapy had another super chat saying Germany going full Weimar by importing brown shirts. Now, okay, let's not I don't know. I don't really like this language, but I think the point stands. The point stands that a lot of people coming to these countries hold opinions that are far more radical than the opinions of the far right white working class that the left loves to demonize, right? Or paint in broad strokes and fearmonger about or whatever. Granted, there are far right extremists that are horrible, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of these people have opinions that are worse, more extreme, and higher in quantity.
So he's right. He's correct then. I mean, the language is as the analogy stands then. So this is the sketch therapy. This is not an exaggeration.
Yeah.
So I know. So I mean, in fact, as you confirmed it yourself, Susie, it's actually worse than that. So you're correct.
I'm like listening to myself talk, and I'm like, oh fuck. And it's just so ironic because, you know, like feminists campaigning on the street just like don't put two and two together. But what can you do? I used to be one of those people, so I get it. Asian American gave a super chat. Thank you, my friend, saying, should we add brain scans while looking at images to look for unconscious or conscious bias? Then we can see which neural maps predict violence.
If it's government mandated, then
is there
no.
any conclusive scientific evidence regarding this? Because I know that the whole idea that was promulgated very aggressively over the past, 10 years about implicit bias actually has, my understanding, that whole idea of implicit bias is some degree of very poor.
Susie, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even if it was true, this is too much government overreach. This is too much government overreach, and I would say no. As a libertarian, I would say no. Fuck that. Get the government out of my.
See, Asian American is always trying to bring his People's Republic of China authoritarian.
Yes. Asian American,
go back. All of his thoughts experiments
get the CCC shit out of here.
Authoritarianism.
Fucking hell. We're trying to reduce government involvement. You wanted them to come look into our fucking brains? That, like, even if this was a good program, I'm pretty sure it would be misused at some point, giving the government this much authority to look into our fucking minds.
I love how Gaijin will come ask some like very esoteric question about like DNA data use in AI and being like, but social credit scores though.
Fighting this is basically the very definitions of fighting monsters by creating a bigger monster. That's basically what's happening. Yeah.
Also, the expense involved with operating this kind of thing. MRIs and functional MRIs are no joke. Sketch Therapy gave, and just by the way, it's all love to Asian American. You know, we know he's a funny guy. Sketch Therapy gave another super chat. You're being so generous today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Without vetting, you import refugees and their oppressors. And I have to agree with this because we have so many friends. I have had way too many friends go through the refugee system and refugee detainment facilities talking about the level of extremism that they have to live amongst when they're going through these systems, primarily in Europe, in my experience. And they're like, that's why, in my experience, the people I know who have the strongest line on immigration in Europe and the strongest line on asylum seeking in Europe are people who are former asylum seekers themselves in Europe. Because they're like, you haven't seen what I've seen. I know I had to go through this. It's insane.
I mean, the fact that so many people who were actually deserving of refugee status felt more scared in these refugee centers than sometimes in their own country shows the type of people that they're letting in. You know, the fact that some ex-Muslims, when they come into this refugee camps, they're like, holy fuck, get me the fuck out of here. I'm going to die here. Like, I'm going to die in this refugee camp. More like the risk to my life is higher in Germany in this refugee camp than where I came from. Okay, imagine when ex-Muslims tell us that. Imagine the people who we're letting in, if that's what the ex-Muslims are reporting in this refugee camps.
And anecdotally, the worst experiences that I've heard of all happen in Germany.
Yeah,
Islam is asking, "Are you ex-Muslims?" Yes, Armin here is an ex-Muslim.
Susie is not an ex-Muslim because she's Shia. Okay.
That's true. That's true.
She's an ex-Catholic Shia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right.
And after the show every day, I turn off the camera and go cry for Hussein. Okay, and then John is saying Denmark could be an outlier, though. I think a more aggressive, accept Israel-German policy could be a better deal. No, but John, the problem is that a lot of Denmark's policies are directed towards addressing the bleeding that is already happening. So they've closed off the valve, but then they also have to address who's already here. So a lot of their issues are regarding who's already here. Germany's new policy of the accepting and Israel policy is brand new. That's not tackling the who's already here. And also he's saying Denmark could be an outlier, though. Well, the problem is that there's so little data that is collected by European authorities, I think, because they don't want to see how ugly the data really is, if I'm being completely honest. I learned a lot of this information from a YouTube channel called Into Europe, which is this like super, very nice, very intelligent French dude who just looks at the data and the lack of the data and goes out of his way to just go find it and put it together himself. And he presents controversial European topics in just like a very straightforward, objective way. And it's very informative. And
he's very, very careful to be as objective as he possibly can. It's like, if you want to see data broken down to you without any bias, that person is freaking amazing. Mm-hmm. And he will just give it to you in any way. Like, you might, like, some people, you might not, both sides might not like what he has to say because he's just that objective about it. So,
so okay, I've got another from our generous friend Gajan saying, then people send unfavorable neural maps for deprogramming and to wash their brain from extremism. Okay, see, Gajan, I got your ticket right here. The Chinese thought reform is jumping out. A lot of people don't know that the term brainwashing actually comes from Chinese. Because the Chinese communists were the first to systematize a systematic program of thought reform. It's just his culture. Who am I to say?
You know, I have a free market, less invasive, less government mandated program solution for you, Asian American, that might make you happy. Okay, imagine if we had a society where people who voluntarily would go and get their brain scanned to show that they're not a threat, they would get less police checkups, or they will get better insurance rates, or I don't know. Basically, instead of the government coming out and mandating it, anybody who goes and voluntarily does that, they get basically more of a free pass, less of less checking, more trust, and also better insurance rates. That would be a better, I think, in between.
Do you mind covering the next 2 super chats while I go to the bathroom?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. If guys, are everything okay? Because Heavy Griddle was saying, no, the stream is working. Okay. I will do the next super chats while Susie goes to the washroom. Okay, let me do. I know people prefer Susie reading their super chats, but this is what you get. Okay, I don't care. Nail Bunny is saying, here in the UK, we all know nice Muslims. Families here for generations. They're the reason most think Islam is fine. We must only let in ex-Muslims. Okay, I have a controversial take here. Fuck. I don't even know. I wish Susie was here to stop me from saying this. Okay, guys, I'm just gonna say it. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. And this might come. And if you want to call me out as an ex-Muslim that came from the Middle East, call me out for it. Okay. I am just saying what I'm seeing, regardless of its consequences, what this would have been to me if this was applied to me as well. Okay. Even it might seem unfair, but I believe in it. And if you just want to correct me, just tell me why I'm wrong. I will remain open-minded about this. Okay. I think you should just shut it down completely from Islamic countries. Including, I mean, ex-Muslims, LGBT, even if they deserve it. You have failed to figure this shit out. You have failed to figure out exactly who is. You are paralyzing your country. Just shut it down. There are already enough people who could benefit from immigration-wise from non-Islamic countries who might need it as well, who are well deserving as well. It's not worth the risk to these countries to just any program that wants to open the door a little bit. I mean, until you fix your countries completely, like, which I don't like, from this Muslim threat, I think you need to completely 100% the number of people you accept from any Islamic country, or even Islamic countries with Islamic governments, right? Needs to be 0. Even no Muslims, no ex-Muslims, no LGBT, no Christians, even if they deserve it. You have to take care of your own country first. Anyways, that might be a controversial take. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but correct me. Anyways, so yeah, Susie, we have to go. You're right. So you could go.
Gajan also said immigrants. So his brain scan regime would be for immigrants, not citizens, and the science we discover might be worth the return on investment. Would an NGO conducting these scans put you at ease? Well, Gajan, if you're, I have a background in human subjects research. And there's some ethical questions involved with vulnerable populations, at-risk populations. It's an interesting field. So anyways,
we're gonna super chat.
Also, John is responding to you saying, hard disagree, Armin. My significant other, when in Turkey, encountered loads of Iranians, all atheist. So he's giving that as an example, counterpoint. Off topic, is it normal to not drive at 30 plus in the USA? That's me. John, I'm sorry to inform you that no, it's not normal, because in America we have the car tax, which is to exist in this country, you have to have a car. It's the car tax, okay? Most cities you have to have a car for transportation. So
I don't understand what you're
anyways.
disagreeing with me on. I know that, like, that doesn't counter my point. I'm an atheist from Iran.
It's our whole community. Especially, I mean,
It's
we
our
have an
whole
entire Persian
community.
channel dedicated to this community.
Yeah, and we have had so many shows regarding the rise of non-religious views in Iran, the number of people who left Islam in Iran. So I don't like, where's it? What, that doesn't even negate my point. So I don't even have a disagreement with you. I agree with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Iran is not a Muslim majority country. I agree with that, but at the same time, it's a Muslim governed country, Islamic governed country. Again, I don't know. Maybe Iran would. The reason why I'm hesitant to say Iran should be an exception is because that might be my bias, because I'm Iranian and I'm an ex-Muslim, and maybe you're right. Maybe if there's one country in the Middle East that should be an exception, is Iran. But again, that coming from me, being an Iranian, might be seen as hypocritical. Like, oh, do accept immigrants from all countries, no countries in the Middle East except the one that I'm from. So that's why I'm hesitant to say that, right? But anyways.
Yep. Which also happens to be the country which is the head of the octopus of this fucking despot bullshit. But that's very self-aware, Armin. I appreciate that. Nail Bunny gave another super chat saying, not controversial, Armin. It makes sense. Perhaps they need to stay and fight for ex-Muslim rights in their own country. Oh, well, that's not happening.
Yeah, and I actually no. Like the point I'm not making is not that they don't deserve to come to Europe or to be protected. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, they absolutely deserve it. I'm just saying that the priority should be saving the liberal countries from falling. I'm not saying these people don't deserve it. I'm not saying it would not be a good thing to provide protection for them. It would absolutely be a justified.
Or you're not saying that there's not a cost.
Right? Yes, there's a cost associated with not accepting these people. This is a huge cost, okay? So I'm not dismissing that. But I'm just saying, priorities. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Engaging American just gave us
still pushing. He's still pushing. Okay, saying favorable insurance rates. Yes, Armin. Now you're thinking like a Shanghainese Taoist with capitalistic characteristics.
Thank you. Also,
yes, you are finding the way.
I'm sad a little bit because I made John sad, and I know why he's sad, and I understand it. Sorry.
No, I mean,
I might be wrong.
This the first time I cried on stream.
Yeah, I'm sorry for John. I understand. You have a big heart, John. You have a big heart. I'm not dismissing the importance of sympathy and wanting to care for other people. So I hope you don't feel like I hope you don't feel less of me for saying all of this. Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
There's one thing I can say for sure is that Armin does not say this lightly.
Yeah. I mean, I know too many people who deserve this protection personally. So I'm not saying this because I don't care for them. I know these people. Okay.
Yeah, we love them.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
Oh my God,
we have more super chat. Yeah.
Saying, should the population of... Thank you, first of all, Anna. Thank you for the super chat. Should the population of the EU challenge Islam more? What could be an action we can take to protect our values and free speech? 100% yes to the first question. What can an action we take to protect our values and free speech? Like, challenge all of these bureaucrats and politicians who seem to just have a hatred and resentment of free speech. Like, all of these, and we're going to talk about it actually later in the show, essentially the implementation of secularized blasphemy laws. This needs to be pushed back with the harshest terms possible.
Right.
Yeah, not accepting people who whitewash this stuff, calling out people who just want to equivocate,
Yeah, and
talking to people in your
I mean,
day-to-day life about
yeah.
how your mind changed. That's a big one, honestly.
and the ex-Muslims that you already have, they're an asset in this fight, so maybe you could use them as well. Especially
Yeah, 100%.
if you're not going to let anyone anymore in, you might take advantage of the ones that you already have in this fight.
What are some actions you could take? I don't know. Go make some friends with your local Iranian community. In my experience, they're the most hardcore secularists I've ever met.
Right, there's that.
Like here in my local
Okay.
community, most of them are not even necessarily atheists. They actually come from a Baha'i community. A lot of Baha'is. But they're the most hardcore secularists.
Sometimes a little bit too hardcore, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go there right now.
Yeah,
So-
you know,
so-
I'm not going to be too critical right now.
Yeah, no. All right. Okay, we should move on to the next news.
Yeah.
Clappable? Oh no,
No.
I'm not clappable. Sorry. All right, it's the German one, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, next news.
Next news from asylum seeker to terrorist. Munich attack exposed. Munich was left in shock after a 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker, Farhad Nouri, deliberately rammed his Mini Cooper into a peaceful protest of trade unionists, killing a 37-year-old woman and her 2-year-old daughter, reportedly trapping them underneath his Mini Cooper and injuring 34 others. The horrifying attack, which took place during a Verdi trade union demonstration near the Munich Security Conference, was fueled by Islamist extremism, according to prosecutors. Witnesses reported hearing Nouri shouting Allahu Akbar as he plowed through the crowd, claiming a claim he later confirmed during questioning. Quote, he has admitted that he deliberately drove into participants of the demonstration, stated senior public prosecutor Gabriel Tillman, who also revealed there's no evidence of Nouri being part of an Islamist network. So this is another lone wolf attack. Once seen as a model of integration, they're like, oh, because this man, he was a successful bodybuilder. He had a large Instagram following. He had tens of thousands of Instagram followers. He's a successful story by all reports. His online posts before the attack reveal a chilling radicalization, including one where he urged, quote, eradicate all those who are bad to Islam. The incident has reignited fierce debate over Germany's asylum policies, with officials grappling with how a seemingly well-integrated individual could harbor such deadly intent. So there was a little bit of different reporting when it came to this story. There was some reporting that he had his claim rejected, which is why he did this. And here's the thing. So he came here when he was a child, I think, in 2016. Yes. He arrived in 2016. So this is long before Afghanistan fell to the Taliban. And he ended up getting his claim denied. However, because of Germany's current laws, he was allowed legal residency because they decided that they could not deport him, because under international human rights law, you're not allowed to deport people back to countries where you think that there's going to be an immediate threat to their life, or they're going to be in danger, and so forth. So even though he had his claim denied, my understanding is he was not under immediate threat of deportation. And I don't know. I mean, a lot of what I have to say here is exactly what I said in the last story. I think what's even worse in this regard was that this is someone that was believed to be a success story. Like, this is believed to be, oh, someone who's successfully integrated. And this is what happened. I know The Olaf Scholz put out a statement saying that they want to prosecute him. He said, Chancellor Scholz said, quote, "This perpetrator cannot hope for any leniency. He must be punished and he must leave the country. If it was an attack, we must take consistent action against possible perpetrators with all means of justice." I don't know. Okay, I know that the results of the German election like just came out, and I just woke up to do the show, so I haven't had any chance to examine those and the implications and so forth. I don't know how much I can't fucking take this. Like, I can't. I don't know. I know that Germany previously we've covered how they are re-examining their deportation policies regarding Syria and Afghanistan. Because this problem across Europe primarily comes from people who are Syrian and Afghan nationals. And if you were just allowed to send people back, because it's like part of the problem is if you're committing crimes, we have an issue of like you're here and you're rejected and we can't deport you. So you have a fully adjudicated case and we can't deport you. So now you're just here. So then you're creating an explicit incentive for people to come, because then even if they are not approved, then you can't make them leave. So why wouldn't they just come? Second of all, if they're committing criminal acts, including violent crimes and sexual violence, you can't deport them either. So then you're just stuck with a problem. And again, it creates an incentive, because if there's no stick, there's only a carrot. I don't even know. Like a few weeks ago, I was joking with Armin that I think Europe needs to contract ICE and just help people like clean house.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're going to lose all the Democrats in the live chat. Right.
No, but seriously, like no one can honestly say that this is acceptable.
Right.
You know, like we're at a point where I cannot think of a good faith argument for someone to say that the public should not be concerned. You know, that it's just xenophobia if you're concerned. It's just hatred and bigotry if you're concerned. Can you honestly make that argument anymore? I don't even think you could make that argument several years ago.
Are people voting right now in Germany as we speak? Like, isn't it right now?
No, I think did the polls close? German election results. Oh, not all votes have been counted.
Oh, so I was correct. Oh no, it hasn't been counted. Okay, it's over. People are saying it's over. Okay,
is it over? I don't know.
If you're seeing an edited version of this, we were recording this when the election was just finishing. So this is going to have an impact. Second, as predicted.
Yeah.
By how much? By more than expected.
SPD came in third so far.
That's freaking crazy, by the way. I don't know if people understand AFD coming second. What a big deal that is.
Apparently, they doubled their previous score. But I'm just looking at headlines right now.
This is going to change the political landscape in Germany for a long time. And if we keep going this way, I mean, a lot of people are predicting that AFD at some point is going to come first. In the same way what happened in Netherlands, at some point these people are going to come first, and like some people are thinking like at some point reform is going to come first in the UK. Same thing is going to happen in France. So guys, did everybody predicted AFD will come second, but did they become second with the higher than the number that they predicted or lower?
I have no idea. I don't know about the predictions.
Yeah, no, I'm asking the Germans in the chat. That's important. So we'll see, like, what this is gonna do. Uh, Again, there's a lot of things. So, yeah, Amir saying that's alarming. That's not good. If AFD wins, I mean, if AFD winning is not good news, then you have the immigration policy of Germany to thank for.
Exactly.
You know, if you don't like AFD,
And the
then
spinelessness of the political establishment, the cowardice, and the bending of the knee.
yeah, you just handed over you're just basically giving them their win. You know, you're so insistent on your immigration policy that you this is your reward. This is what you get.
It makes me think of this conservative commentator in the US he was talking about the Democrats, where he was saying that on every issue there's like an 80% where 80% have one opinion and the other percent have the 20%. And Republicans have been largely picking the 80%, and then Democrats will reflectively pick the 20%. And then like stake their tent and their reputation on defending that, when really they're not on the side that's supported and popular by the people. And it, in a sense, it kind of reminds me of that dynamic.
Right. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe a lot of people are saying the CDU in Germany is now going to be a lot more aggressive. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. And also, you know, people are saying that the AFD, no party is going to form a coalition, or they're not going to work with the AFD. I mean, we saw that taboo already broken once by the CDU. I think they broke that taboo. There was a bill that there was something that they did with the AFD, I think. So that taboo, these are red lines that initially these parties say they won't cross, but then there's going to be something that they desperately need their support for, and given all the political capital they have, somebody at some point is going to break that taboo, and then once you break that taboo, then other people are going to do the same thing. I mean, and they just have too much political power for it's going to be so tempting at some point for people to just break those barriers. So we'll see. Anyways, let's go with these comments. Oh, these comments actually has a good drink to it. These. All right, so let me go here. Here.
This is a very sarcastic comment. Someone really needs to do something about all these cars.
Shit. Oh my god, I hate myself for laughing because of the tragedy. I mean, guys, it's dark humor, okay? So don't blame us for.
It's also making fun of the media for the way they frame it as like a car went through a
Right.
crowd, blah blah blah. Where it's like, well, a
Right.
car doesn't just do that; it's someone driving it. I mean,
Yeah,
as much
because
as I understand people getting frustrated by the media framing it that way, they have to do that for legal and journalistic reasons.
do
But
they?
you know, that's besides the point.
Do they have to? A car went through, like, do they have to frame it like that?
Stop importing Mini Cooper.
That's good. Fuck.
Oh God. I'm sorry, but like you really need to just have anything that can make you laugh at a moment like this, because this was a fucking horrible 2 weeks.
Hey, I can't. Should I play the video of the man while being arrested, yelling at
No,
Akbar
I,
when he
I
proposed?
didn't pull those videos for you to play, just in case.
Okay.
So
So the video that I'm not gonna play it. This is the video, okay? As Susie said, don't play it. But this caption says a new video shows the Afghan terrorists repeatedly screaming Allah after today's car ramming attack in Munich. He was also 28 wounded. He was also sharing Islamist propaganda online leading to the attack. So here's the what? This is the comment. This is the comment.
okay.
I don't know. Okay. I don't even know how to respond to that. This is fake. Sure. You want to read this one?
I am. Yes, you are. No. Oh, I hate this account. This piece of shit. Anyway, he's posting about this, saying 4 days ago there was a large protest of 250,000 people in Munich against the AfD and the far right. Today, another terrorist attack was carried out by an Afghan asylum seeker. Life comes at you fast. I really fucking hate conservatives, quote unquote conservatives, or some people call them the woke right, that take this opportunity to go like nana boo boo at victims, like, because the victims were like all trade unionists, right? Like these aren't like super hardcore right wingers. Like when someone gets assaulted in San Francisco and they say this is what you voted for, instead of being like, oh my god, like a woman was just violently assaulted in her city. It's so gross. It's so gross.
It is gross. It is gross. You're right. That's a good point.
And this person is truly crosswords for the Western world.
Yeah, guys, please make sure you don't sound like you think like the people who are being the victims of terrorist attacks deserve it. Like if you cross that line, you have to look into the mirror. Like you have gone
sound like Hassan Piker.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And when he starts sounding like Hassan Piker, I think you need a slap in the face.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we have two comments that you. Oh, that's not that you wanted that for that Kimba comment that you started is for the next news, isn't it?
Yeah, for the last news.
For the last news, which is the one that we're doing now. So, not clappable, as you mentioned. So I'm just going to say next news.
Next news: stabbed for burning the Quran. Shocking. Oh, wrong one. You pulled up the wrong one.
You said the last news. Oh, sorry. One more time. Okay.
Okay.
So there's two more. We have two more news. Okay.
Yes.
So.
Okay. Are you ready?
Next news. Next news.
Stabbed for burning the Quran. Shocking London attack. London was rocked by a violent clash over free speech and religious sensitivities when 50-year-old Hamet Koskun was attacked with a knife after publicly burning a Quran outside the Turkish embassy on February 13th. Koskun, who filmed the act as a protest against the Turkish president, according to him, or according to reports, was swiftly assaulted by 59-year-old Musa Kadri, who spat on him and attempted to stab him with a knife. Despite injuries to his finger, Koskun avoided serious harm, but both men were arrested. Koskun, the Quran burner, for intent to cause harassment, alarm, or distress against Islam, and Kadri for assault and weapon possession. Quote, while I was burning the Quran, I was attacked with a knife. The ambulance and the police came. Koskun, or an account reporting to be him, posted on X, sharing footage of the incident. The arrest of Koskun has sparked outrage among free speech advocates, with Humanist UK warning, quote, burning a religious text should not be a crime. The laws should protect individuals and not ideas. As debates reignite over blasphemy laws in the UK, the case has become a significant flashpoint in the ongoing battle between free expression and religious respect. So, go ahead.
Wait. So, the London police decided there was a man who, while burning a Quran, got stabbed for burning the Quran, and the police still decided to arrest the man for burning the Quran and charge him?
Yes. And let me read you. This is the most shocking part that I wanted to emphasize. The actual name of his charge as reported. His charge is, quote, intent to cause against religious institution of Islam, harassment, alarm, or distress. I'm going to repeat myself. Quote, the charge is, quote, intent to cause against religious institution of Islam, harassment, alarm, or distress.
Wait, institution of Islam is not a person. What the fuck does that even mean? Do institutions have rights now?
So you're now specifically charging someone for the offense against a religion?
Yeah, I thought individuals had a right to not be harassed. I didn't know institutions and religions have. Are religions people too? Are institutions people that deserve not to be harassed? Institutions, not individual people.
So now you're explicitly protecting a religion because it's against a religious institution of Islam.
How is this a secular state? You have a government that is you could act is actually has definitions for harassments of a religion. Not going out and harassing a person that feels Islam could actually be harassed, and the UK government is protecting it. How is this a secular government?
Yeah, so the UK abolished blasphemy laws back in 2008. But now they are returning under the guise of secularized blasphemy laws because people can be prosecuted for the distress they feel related to offense of their religious beliefs. Like the other guy who burned a Quran in honor of the assassinated anti-Islam critic Salman Momika. When the guy in Manchester burned the Quran, he did it, and he explicitly said his motive was to honor the legacy of Salman Momika, but he was charged and pled guilty to this whole thing of causing distress and like religious harassment. So
would this happen if this man was burning a Bible? Susie?
No, I was reading a case earlier today of a guy who was arrested several years ago under a similar offense related to distress. And it was this Islamist guy who burned a bunch of memorial poppies.
Your mic got disconnected, I think, for me a little bit. Can you repeat that?
So basically, several years ago, there was an Islamist guy who burned a bunch of memorial poppies. The poppy is a very important symbol of like veterans who lost their lives in the UK, and he burned a bunch of these poppies, and he was prosecuted for the distress he caused in that incident. So that was one other example I found that was not Islam related. I mean, the guy was.
Can somebody try the Bible? Maybe I shouldn't say that because then they would accuse us of advocating for people to commit a crime. I wonder what would happen if somebody did this to the Bible. What do you guys think? If this man was burning a Bible, would he be charged?
Mm-hmm.
Like, let us know what you guys think. Anyways, by the way, this guy's name, I don't know. Spotlight, are you Iranian? Because Spotlight saying, "Oh my God, I'm cracking up because of his last name."
Spotlight is Iranian.
Name? Because Spotlight is Iranian. That's why he's laughing. Because I was trying not to laugh as well. What's his last name again?
Wait, what is it? What is it? Oh, wait, you guys. Wait. Now I see why it's so funny. His last name is Koskun.
So I was trying not to laugh, and then like my fellow Iranians in the live chat is laughing. His last name is literally vagina butt. Vagina butt.
It's pussy ass.
Yeah, pussy ass. Pussy ass. Yes. No, not penis.
Because it's crude. Like it.
Yeah, kus means vagina. Kun means ass.
Yeah.
So he just has weird last name in Persian.
Okay,
I was like, that's why at the beginning of the show.
I actually do stand in solidarity with Hamid.
Yes. I mean, it's more of a tragedy for you. You got stabbed, but it's also more humiliating by being. I would be double upset if I was stabbed by somebody named Koskun.
No. Koskun is the guy that got stabbed.
Oh, fuck. Then I'm. Shit. Fuck. I'm sorry.
I know. That's why I felt bad. That's why I said, well, I stand in solidarity with the man. I apologize.
Oh, shit.
I apologize.
I'm so sorry. Dude, I'm so sorry. Now I feel. Yeah, Gravy Crush is like, now I feel bad. Yeah, I feel bad too. I'm sorry. Is he okay? Is he going to be okay? Is he
He
recovering?
has minor injuries. He's okay, but he
Oh
has been faced with these charges. He's pled guilty to
Oh
the
my
charges
God.
so far, and he's going to be having a court case. He has to go to court for this. He has to go to court for burning this Quran, I believe in April.
Go defend them. Go defend your Koskun, UK. Please. Go defend.
Don't
I
say
don't
it
know.
like
No,
that.
guys,
God
this
damn
man
you.
needs your support. This man has an epic last name. How about that? You know what? I don't hate. I love vaginas, okay? And I have no hate for coons either, okay? So this is not a bad last name, okay? Stop. Yeah, okay.
Maybe it's
I'm trying to
pronounced
fix
differently.
this.
Maybe I don't know how to pronounce.
Yeah,
Maybe I
yeah.
don't know how
This
to
is your
pronounce
fault,
Turkish
Susie.
names.
This is your fault. Okay, let's go
I'm
with
gonna
that.
take
You
this
just
one. I'm gonna take
mispronounced
this
it.
on the chin.
Yeah.
And I am so sorry.
It's
I am so sorry.
all right. This man, he's gonna recover. He's gonna be okay, and I hope people in the UK are going to come and legally defend this person. Okay.
But regardless, I would just like to highlight that this is absolutely like the wrong way to do multiculturalism. This is not, and there's going to be some community leader coming forward and being like, no, this, I can understand the distress and upset and how it's so upsetting to our diverse communities, blah blah blah. All you're doing is training the public to hate the word diversity. So annoying.
Yeah. All right. Oh wait, I forgot to read the comments D has picked for us. This is just
so
news.
a bunch of the comments were videos of the attack, which I did not pull because I don't want to show that on YouTube. That could get us in trouble. But there was a comment from someone reacting to the video saying, I don't feel sorry for either of them. What possesses people to burn sacred books of other religions?
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Maybe their passion for protecting freedom of expression, you ungrateful piece of shit. The freedom of expression that you enjoy, you fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So this one.
Oh, Jason is saying there's something wrong with the country. Go listen to JD Vance, referring to JD Vance's speech at the Munich Security Conference or whatever it was called.
Yeah, I did a members only stream on that, by the way, guys. If you're a member, go watch that. It was a very good stream. I was very proud of that.
Yeah.
So I covered that speech. I had I covered, we analyzed it as together as a team, with the members there, right? So we had agreements, disagreements. It was a very nuanced show, if I may say so myself. Okay, so go check it out if you remember.
There's one more comment.
Okay, so there's one more here.
Saying tomorrow 500 people should show up with 500 Qurans and burn them.
Yeah, I like this one. All right, but let's move on to the next news fast, and let's try to finish that in 10 minutes. This is my fault. I commented a lot today, so we're sorry for making you rush the last news. But we had one super chat from Anna. Anna say, would you criticize Islam in front of EU Muslims? Yeah, I would. I mean, maybe I shouldn't though, huh? Is it not safe? So, I mean,
you
my
have.
intuition is, yeah, I have, but I have. So, yeah. But maybe that's not a good idea.
If you're asking for personal advice, Anna, I think it depends on if.
Oh,
I wouldn't just.
Oh, you're asking for personal advice. Don't.
No. No. I mean, you can have like a conversation with someone if they're open to having a conversation, But if you just see some like random hijabi on the street and start thinking that's appropriate to just like start badgering her and like having an argument about Islam, like I don't think that's appropriate. Like, but if you're just genuinely talking and invite the conversation and they invite the debate and invite being challenged, sure.
I would.
But just seeing a Muslim is not an opportunity to just start like going.
No.
You know what I mean?
I would suggest keeping your activity online if you want to be active just keep it safe. Don't do this in the physical world. Okay, just keep it safe. Just that's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a woman. Especially if you're a woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's go to the next news. Last news.
Last news. Last news.
Yeah.
No clapping. No.
Okay.
That was not a clap.
World's first openly gay imam assassinated in South Africa. Muhsin Hendricks, the world's first openly gay imam and a trailblazer for LGBT Muslims, was brutally assassinated in South Africa on February 15th, sparking outrage and fears of a targeted hate crime. Hendricks, who was the founder of the Al Ghurba Mosque in Cape Town, was a safe haven for queer Muslims who was ambushed while sitting in a car in, I don't know how to pronounce this, in Gekeberha, when two masked gunmen fired multiple shots, killing him instantly. The ILGA world family, so ILGA is like the International Alliance of Lesbians, Gays, whatever. Family is in deep shock at the news of the murder of Muhsin Hendricks and calls on the authorities to thoroughly investigate what we fear may be a hate crime, said Julia Enhert, the executive director of IGLA. Known globally for his advocacy, Hendricks dedicated his life to helping LGBT Muslims reconcile their faith and identity, despite fierce backlash from conservative circles. While police continue investigating the motive, many see this as a violent silencing of a man who dared to challenge religious taboos in pursuit of acceptance and love. So, Muhsin was actually pretty famous. There was a documentary made about him, I should say. And the documentary was called The Radical, and it profiled his life and how he was once like married and have a family, ended up getting divorced and coming out of the closet and being open about his identity, and how he went out of his way to try to promote like pluralism within Islam and pluralism within Muslim communities, and help people who wanted to reconcile their, LGBT identity with being a Muslim. And apparently what happened was he was assassinated execution style because he was on his way to go officiate a wedding, and it was an interfaith wedding, because he was basically the only Muslim leader who was willing to officiate interfaith weddings. I heard some report that he ended up getting married to a Hindu man himself. I don't know 100% if that's true, but I did read that somewhere. And he was on his way to officiate one of these weddings when this targeted killing occurred. And what's so like, there were some Muslim councils in South Africa who have always come forward and, disagreed with his interpretation of Islam and disagreed with his teachings. And they came forward and said, that while they find his teachings consistently incompatible with Islam, like, we condemn his murder and the acts of violence targeting the LGBT community and any other community. But what was so noteworthy is when a lot of these other Muslim community organizations came forward to talk about his murder, they refused to identify him as an imam. They didn't refer to him with any of the typical religious honorifics that you normally would. They would only refer to him as Mr. They didn't validate his religious position, which I thought was interesting. There's, to be completely honest, there's a part of me that wonders if this was a hate crime or not, only to the extent that I personally believe South Africa is a failed state, because of how badly things have deteriorated and how violent it is. I'm like, do we know that this was in fact targeted, or was this just
It's
par for the course? But so far, based on statements being made by authorities and so forth, it seems that it was a targeted killing.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, this is obviously incredibly tragic. And when news of his death came out, I think no one would be at all surprised to learn that there was praise for his murder all across social media, and praise for his death and what happened to him by just Muslims all around the world, including in our own live chat. Where local Muslim commenter Kimba came forward and say how, at the beginning of the show, he commented how this guy thought he can be gay and an imam. What's wrong with him? The capital punishment is clear if you did that sin. So we have Kimba ourselves here as a case in point, legitimizing his fate, what happened to him. And this is one of the reasons why I don't ban people like Kimba, who says all sorts of filth in our live chat that I'm fucking tired of. Because people like this come forward and identify themselves. And that's useful. And it is a useful example, a real-time example of the problems and the attitudes we're talking about. Because once again, we say it all the time. We do not have to make up or lie or tell people, oh, these are the attitudes, blah, 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 blah. Because they come forward and expose themselves. We just have to display it for what it is. And we see that right here. Armin, what are your thoughts?
No, I mean, on point. By the way, Susie, you've been on fire. I mean, I was gonna say today, but you're on fire most of the time. Like, your points are so.
Thank you.
This is why people miss you when you're not on the streams that I do. You just have a way with words. I just wanted to add, like, again, people like this. A lot of people, I think our community is a lot more mature than other communities, because a lot of other places people are confused on how to talk about somebody like him. Do we support this guy? Do we appreciate him? Yes. And people are like, well, he's wrong because Islam is anti-LGBT. Islam is homophobic. This guy is an idiot. This guy does not, like, this is, I don't know, some people will go as far and say this is taqiyya. Like, how could you support such a person? He's misrepresenting Islam. Yeah, we disagree with people. We appreciate and disagree with people at the same time. This guy was doing, in many times, this guy is a victim. It's a tragedy. Is he an imam? Yes. Is there a contradiction between Islam and being gay? Yes, but he didn't see it that way. And just because somebody has a wrong opinion, that doesn't mean that we cannot appreciate what they're doing, their activism, many of the good work that they're doing. It's just a disagreement. Okay, don't make disagreements. Yeah, go on.
We don't make disagreements a condition for friendship. Another way to reframe what you're saying, Armin, is we have fierce ideological disagreement with people who are the so-called reformers of Islam, or the people who are trying to liberalize Islam, because typically reform in Islam means a return to fundamentalism. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about the people that are the so-called reformers who want to establish an appreciation for liberal values within Islamic practice. We have a fundamental disagreement that is compatible with Islamic teaching, right? But we appreciate the behaviors and aspirations of the reformers, in the sense, am I making myself clear? Like, we appreciate the behavior that they're demonstrating as people, but we still disagree with the idea that this ideology of Islam can ever be compatible with liberalism. But we celebrate the more welcoming behavior that they are exhibiting.
Exactly.
Am I making sense?
No, that makes complete. That's fantastic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Agreements does not have to be a condition for friendship or support, right? I mean, we will never back down on saying Islam is full on anti-gay, anti-human, to be honest, right? But if somebody sees it otherwise, we will say they're wrong, but that doesn't mean they're our enemies.
Yeah.
But I guess Susie, you just said everything I want to say better. So it made complete sense. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, Gajan gave a super chat with some more context, saying Gajan said he's married to a Hindu man in 2006. As a fellow Gajan, this helps. Fellow Gajan, because the guy was Asian, he was Pakistani originally. As a fellow Gajan, this hits close to home. To be able to love and marry in accordance to the Tao of your heart is a privilege I won't take for granted. 100%. And I think that sentiment is something that is still felt very deeply by people who are same-sex attracted and able to express that and have any legal right to partnership regarding that.
Wait, in accordance,
don't take it for granted.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's accordance to Tao. It's according
no, but that's Gajan's way.
It's
his way is the way of the commie, the commie and the Tao.
Okay. But yeah, okay, sure. I'm gonna allow it, even though I don't believe in Tao and all that stuff. I think like you're just using symbolic language, right?
Well, you wouldn't understand as an Abrahamic anyways.
Yes. I'm stuck within my Abrahamic mindset.
Yeah.
We also got a super sticker from Carl. Thank you so much,
thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
And we got a comment from Heavy Gretel that you highlighted saying Western queers completely throw out the rest of the community under the bus so they can virtue signal for people that hate them. Yes, 100%. And you know what this is? This is a prime example of an idea of a luxury belief. Okay. Because think of it this way. And this is an idea developed by Rob Henderson, which is luxury goods are goods in which people buy because they confer a certain level of status upon them. Right? A luxury belief is a belief that you hold because of the status that it confers upon you. But you are isolated from the consequences of that belief because it's a luxury. So I think it's a prime example of that. The LGBT community in the West is driven by this to such an extent. I personally no longer even refer to myself as part of the LGBT community because I don't feel like it is my community. I am not lesbian, gay, or trans. I just refer to myself as bisexual because I feel so disaffiliated from the community and the lack of individualism and the groupthink that it perpetuates and the moral purity testing. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? I feel extremely othered by it, and I don't like to be associated with that stuff. I just want to be Susanna, and Susanna happens to be bi, whatever. So
it's I'm gonna, it's because a lot of times when I talk about, the things that the directions that the LGBT movement has gone, and I get worried about people seeming like I don't care about gay rights or bi rights or trans rights or stuff like that. But I don't know. But then when I see people from that community come out and say that themselves, I feel like, no, I'm not being against their rights when I say that. Like, so, there are many other people, trans people, lesbians, gays, and bi people that they are coming out and saying like, they don't feel like this community, the whole LGBT community is representing them, and they don't like the direction that it's going. So it's not homophobic or transphobic to say that. Even
No,
if you're
not
wrong.
at all.
Even if you're wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
and
let's
to be
look
clear,
at
when I
these-
talk about this kind of thing, I make it specific to the Western LGBT community. I don't project it onto countries where it is still very, very, very deadly. You know, they really should
I mean-
not be conflated globally. They're very
I mean,
separate.
one of the best examples of the the LGBT flag. One, I think the fact that they put black and brown
Yes,
in the
it's
LGBT flag,
Don't
which
even get me
shows
started.
which is an American centric problem.
yes.
Just show it was a big fuck you. I'm not dismissing it as a problem. It is a problem, but I think that was a big fuck you from the Western LGBT community to the rest of the world, as if this is an American thing
Yes.
by changing that flag. I don't know.
I know. No, I literally get that complaint from my friends who are LGBT in like non-white countries. They're like, "What the hell? I don't need brown on the flag. We're all brown here." Like, wait, can I actually show a meme that I think about a lot in regard to this?
Well, we have 4 minutes, so
No,
do it
this
fast.
is so
Okay,
quick.
good.
Because you know the whole like which way Western man like reject modernity, embrace tradition, as if modernity isn't like the whole reason why we have anything like prosperous and good in this world. But this is the version of it that I I promote this. Reject modernity, embrace tradition.
That's funny.
I unironically support this. The entire reason why, okay, because I was really deeply into queer history for a very long time. The entire reason why Mr. Baker created
Weird.
the LGBT flag, the gay pride flag, to be rainbow was specifically because it is supposed to capture every shade, every color, every variation. He specifically chose the rainbow because it was supposed to be universalizing.
Okay, we have 2
Sorry, I know.
minutes. Okay, so
I know.
that's okay. So read this comment.
This person is saying, where are the moderate Muslims I keep hearing about who condemn this type of violence? They don't object to this. They don't object to the nurses in Australia threatening to kill Jews. It's almost like they don't exist.
And that's what we've been seeing. Okay, here, this one.
Yeah, and this person is saying, queers for Palestine are oddly quiet about this. Why?
And this one.
Oh, yeah. So this is a prime
wow.
example, once again, of someone actually praising this. This is the attitudes we're talking about. We don't have to make them up. We don't have to tell you that they exist. We just have to show you. Exhibit A, saying, beautiful. The next ones won't think of trying it.
And this, wow, and with a blue check mark too. Amazing. Okay, so there's that. And guys, we need to go within a minute. We got a unicorn celebrating 16-month membership, saying thank you as always, Susan Armin. Thank you.
Wow.
And then 16 months, thank you so much. And then Baristana saying, Susie, come to Israel. So,
I really want to, but I can't this year. I have to attend too many weddings.
yeah. And then there was another comment that you starred.
Oh,
So,
this
yeah,
is, I thought this was sweet. I just wanted to highlight this. My lady in red is saying, I thought to myself, how am I supposed to be Muslim when I'm gay? I was only able to accept that when I first heard ex-Muslims speak about their doubts that made me leave the religion. Thank you. I don't know. I just thought
Okay.
that was
Thank you, guys.
to end on.
All right, we have 10 seconds to leave the stream. Guys, don't forget to like the stream and thank you so much and see you again on the next stream. Bye. Mwah.